This
like,
is the problem of like pretend synchronous stuff, content like this, right? The
mm,
ads are served. Probably we got different ones, and they'll be of slightly different times. But
yeah,
it's supposed to be a live stream that we are all seeing the same thing, but we have the paradigm of television. Anyway, what a cold open. Paradigm
amazing.
of television.
Welcome, friends, to Tanked Up, the podcast all about craft beer and video games. It's episode 400. I'm one of your hosts here with special guests, Lucy.
And just a special guest now,
Yeah.
not the member of the ever
Elite squad.
non-revolving cast.
And Adam. Everyone's a special guest.
Special guest. I've been
Okay.
here for years.
Co-hosts, special guests. This makes us sound us more, or at least makes 400 sound bigger than it is. Having co-hosts / special guests, which are just us. It's us, as it always will be. As you said at the beginning, Lucy, just hooray, immortal and forever.
Yes.
Let's do as we always do. It's episode 400, but we're going to do what we always do. It's just going to be longer and with more beers and probably slightly more insane. So let's start. Lucy. What are you kicking off with?
Yes, because it's a momentous day, momentous occasion. 400, which is so many years, what, like 9 years.
About
You
that,
lot have
yeah,
been
something
doing-
like that.
you
8
lot
years,
have been
8
doing
years
it.
maybe.
Yeah, you lot are getting old. Not me though. I'm still the right side of 35. But anyway.
Ouch.
I'm having a beer from Deya, which is one of their mixed fermentation beers. Which
Nice.
I think I bought over Christmas. This is called the Post Dip Beer, and it's called. I think the other name is Ortega. I believe it's in collaboration with Cotswolds Single Estate Woodchester Valley. It's a mixed fermentation beer with Ortega grape pomace. And it's 6.3%. We've got the little classic alligator dude, their typical, the mascot, their little alligator mascot.
I think he's got a name,
He's,
isn't he? But we never know what it is.
Does he?
Yeah.
Alligator man. And he's, in his skinnies, in his, bathing suit. So yeah, it does have flavour text just on the other side. This is a mixed fermentation beer made with pressed Ortega grapes from Woodchester Valley Vineyard.
Okay.
Aromas of lemon, gooseberry, and a hint of sea air greet you. The taste is warm citrus with a light green apple acidity and a hint of wheat. The finish has lots of pithy grapefruit as well as a decent amount of oak character vying for your attention. Dig deep or just relax. So yeah, this is in a 750ml bottle, so might take me a while. But yeah, that's my first beer of the night at least.
Nice.
Well, some of it is.
Good. Adol, what are you starting off with?
Interestingly, special occasion, fancy beer. Lucy and I were thinking very similar. I've got a beer from Wildflower.
Oh,
It's too washed out. So they're an Australian wild ale company. I think I've had something from them before. So this is the St. Walter Black Muscat Australian wild ale. St. Walter is an Australian wild ale re-fermented with red wine grapes. It's named for Topher and his wife's first son. St. Walter was an 11th century monk from the Loire Valley in France and is the patron saint of vintners. In 2020, this variant was made from golden mixed fermentation barrel-aged beer and 750 kilograms of hand-picked black muscat grapes from Thornbrook Orchard in Orange, New South Wales.
Okay.
4,300 bottles. And it is best before 2025 and ABV 5.8%.
Nice.
And I need to go get a bottle opener.
Ah.
Yeah, I was like, bottle opener. That's why
Yeah.
I keep them under my desk.
I'll be back.
Right here.
I shall hand one through the screen to you. Yeah, you got to keep it close.
Yes.
Just on the off chance that you have a bottle. I don't have any bottles. this evening. I'm not quite as fancy as you lot. But I do have a collaboration beer from Verdant and Beak called Passing Thoughts. It is a 6.5%. I believe it's an IPA. Does it tell me anywhere that it is? I'm not too sure. That's what it looks like.
I was very jealous when I saw that can.
Yes.
I was like, Verdant, Beak, that's just hopefully a combination made in heaven.
Yeah. It's the only thing I have on here is that it's got Eclipse, Mosaic, and Nectaron in the hot side, and Nectaron, Mosaic, and Eclipse in the cold side. I don't know if they're listed in terms of their sort of the amount that has gone into those. But yeah, it's a 6.5%. Oh, it is an IPA. It does say that. So yeah, that's what I have got. Lucy, we'll roll back round to you.
Yeah, it was very, very carbonated on the pour, but now there's one or two few bubbles just rising up the glass. There's a lot of sediment in the glass. You probably can't see it on camera, but there's quite a bit in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, which you'd expect from a mixed firm beer. But yes, the head just dissipated almost immediately. It's very light, straw-coloured. The aroma, like just cracking open the bottle and just smelling it now, it's very reminiscent of cider. So those apples are definitely coming through. So I was like, because I'm not a massive cider fan, I was like, oh, where's the beer smell gone? Where has it gone? That's what I'm familiar with, but it smells like cider. Very much so.
Yeah. I mean, it does have that little bit of haze to it, that little bit of kind of slight oranginess that you kind of get with cider. But you hold a cider next to a beer, and usually the only thing you can tell the difference is the carbonation. But
yeah, that is I'm gonna go for another sip.
Take time. We've got hours.
Yes, because this is a Saturday.
And all we're doing this episode is just talking about these three bits. That's it.
Every sip.
Yeah. It's I think having a apple-based mixed firm beer is a bit jarring for me because I get like quite a few beers from like Crossover Blendery, and they do more with like different fruits like cherries or berries rather than apples.
Yeah.
Really, they do a whole load of berries. Like they find like very niche farmers in the UK and get berries, whereas this is very much more cidery in taste, which is not really my go-to because, as I say, I'm not a massive cider fan. So it is a bit jarring having like something that's very much cidery in taste. But I think I'm having to like, as I sip, like train myself, be like, this is a beer, this is a beer, this is a beer. But if you like cider, like, I think this would be an absolute go-to if you were like, I don't like beer, or if you're stranded in a tap room, there's no cider, and this somehow would be there. This would be as close as you can get to a cider without it being a cider. The good thing is, though, is like it doesn't have that, as you say, that very sharp carbonation that a cider sometimes can have, which is like a bit. This has a bit more bitterness. It's not as sweet. It's not as sharp on the ending. It's still quite sour and puckering, but it's not as as harsh a finish as I find a lot of ciders. So
okay.
I'm hearing a lot of movement in the Discord. Is that just me?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I thought one of you were like sending messages to me, like Lucy, you've on mute or something like that. That's fine.
No, not me.
Okay.
Not me.
Sorry.
Good.
Couldn't be 400 without someone mistaking something or some issues. But yeah, this is as I say, this is not in my wheelhouse, but it's too cidery for me.
Right.
I'll still drink it.
Well, absolutely.
Got 750 mils of it. You damn right. Cost me £16. Definitely in drink.
Ooh. I mean, it's always good to see someone like Deya doing something slightly different.
Yeah, I really want to go to their mixed firm room. I still do. I just see it as it's such an easy thing to just get on the train to, but for the strikes and stuff like that, so I didn't go last year. Maybe this is the year.
Absolutely.
But yeah, maybe I'll warm up to it and start feeling a bit more of the nuances and flavors. But right after that, it's very, very jarring because it tastes very cidery.
Cool. Adel, we'll come to you for the wildflower.
Yeah. Immediately on cracking it, I got that wild yeast smell, like lovely tang.
Ooh, it's very red.
Yeah, it's a bit more orangey in person, but
Bronze.
it's like an orangey red. To be honest, it's quite close to a rosé, I would say.
Okay.
There's a bit more orange in there as well, so that's like presumably the beer and the red wine grapes. It smells delightful. It's mostly that wild yeast forward. It's got quite that tang, but you do smell the berry, the fruit. Obviously, it's the red wine grapes, but the muscat. That's right. It's black muscat grapes. It's really delicate. It poured with just a bit of carbonation, but you can see that it's just sitting for a while, so mostly gone.
Yep.
Ooh. Oh.
Ooh, I can't do that.
I'll let that coat my mouth for a bit. Interesting. There's a moment in the taste that's a bit too grape juicy for my liking.
Okay.
But it ends quite dry. This is such a curious beer.
When does that moment occur? Like at the start or at the finish? Or just in between for a second?
In the mid.
Right.
So it's got this. It's actually. It's a bit more effervescent than I thought. So it has this really lovely. Oh, it's changing a lot. A few sips in. Lovely sort of rush of carbonation. I mean, for a beer that looks flat. And the wild yeast is quite forward, and then it leads to the grape coming in a wave. And there's just a moment where I think the grape overtakes the yeast, and then it feels just kind of like grape juice. And then that's like just I think the peak of that wave, if you will, and then it withdraws again.
Does it not have that vinous, winey character to it? Because that's what when you say the grape takes out. Is it? Well, one would assume it'd be like wine rather than fruit juice.
Yeah, that's sort of why I was surprised, I think. But I guess it is just re-fermented with wine grapes, right?
Okay.
So it's let me reread the flavor text. Golden mixed fermentation barrel-aged beer, and then 750 kilograms of hand-picked muscat grapes. So it's essentially like a grape beer, right?
Yeah.
It's a really delicate, nuanced grape.
It's not a red wine barrel-aged thing.
Not getting
I mean, it does have a bit of
that.
Sorry?
You're not getting any tannins or anything like that,
Maybe a little bit, but not especially. I really like the finish, though. It finishes quite dry, and it's at that point that it's the most wine-like, because it's dry, almost like a wine. The drying feels more like when you have a dry wine than it does when you have a dried beer. It's really interesting. But you still have this underlying beer bitterness. Sorry, I'm struggling because it's such a unique beer, and I feel like I'm describing it and making it sound like a mess, and it really isn't. It's quite
no. I get you, because me drinking this a bit more, I'm starting to pick up on more beery notes, but at the very first taste of it, it's like, oh, that's very cidery. But
yeah,
now I'm starting to pick up more on like the bitterness, maybe a bit of those hops, like the lemon at the beginning, like even the gooseberry. I think it said on the bottom, I'm starting to pick up those notes. So taste
Yeah.
developed. So
Yeah.
And actually, now that it's sort of sat with me, and I think both the grapey and the beery tastes of finishes have kind of melded, I'm getting a lot more of a wine taste exactly at that moment where I felt like grape juice. I think now that my palate's gotten used to the bitterness of the beer and just the sheer amount of grape taste, it's now mellowed out, and it's like this
yeah,
moment. Now there's this weird moment where it's like I'm having wine, and like nope, you're still having beer.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's probably similar to mine, where it's like it's taken a while just to get all those flavors, but that
Yeah, I will say there's still definitely a grape character, but I think they've done a really good job of like melding it such that it mostly tastes like beer wine in a way that sounds like it shouldn't work but does. It's also, let me say, really refreshing. If this was like spring and the sun was out and it was like 1:30 or 7, I'd be like on a chair in the yard.
Yeah, I'm the same with this beer because I'm thinking, oh, should I just put a cap on it and say, well, just be saving it for tomorrow probably.
Also,
for
it's
the match, for the mauling that we're going to see tomorrow, Man City and Man United. But I may need to be sober for that, otherwise I might do some damage.
Bulk straight to the telly.
But yeah, it's really good. Also, what a pretty bottle. Like just simple. I wish you could see
is it 375 or is it?
Yeah, 375. I wish you could see. Yeah, you can't quite see. My camera won't focus, but this is like a faded.
Oh
yeah. It
Just
almost
came up
looks
there.
like it's been stained with wine from far off.
Yeah, it came up on your camera.
Yeah, but it's just really, really solid, simple but refined graphic design for simple and refined beer wine.
Nice.
There, I made a rhyme.
Have you checked out Crossover Blendery, Adil?
No, I haven't.
Check them out. They got nice bottle design and nice mixed burn beers. So definitely check them out.
Good.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Workers.
Cool. To finish the first round, this Verdant and Beak, it's got a nice nose, but quite a reserved nose, I think. It is almost as, I suppose, a sort of yellowy, bit of an orange tinge to the camera. It's a bit more yellowy, a bit more than you can see, but it is a solid block of colour. The head's stuck around for a little bit, but on the nose it's lovely stone fruits, and they're reasonably big, but it's not sort of, I'm not getting it here. I didn't get it when I cracked the can. It's kind of right when it's up here that nose is starting to come in, really. So it's not a big nose, but it has and feels quite full of flavour. A little bit juicy, maybe a little bit of orange in there, but more... What is that more of? I don't know.
I don't know. You have to drink it.
Just launch in to find out. That is a lovely flavour. But I cannot tell you what it is. Like, there's a mix of... I mean, beer, sure. But it's very fruity. It's very soft. So... Water, beer. Yeah. It's very, very soft. It's very pillowy, very light.
It looks it. Just from the look of it, I was like...
A little bit of carbonation in the body. Not a huge amount. But it is pushing a little bit of, maybe it's not quite orange, but it's more, I suppose, like nectarine. It's more kind of slightly apricot-y. It's got a little bit of that soft stone fruit to it. But there's also something quite sweet in the background. I can't quite pick out what that is. Again, it feels more fruity than anything. And whether that's maybe a bit more of the orange, maybe it's a bit more of a fruity kind of sweet citrus that's coming through on there as well, but it just sort of sits at the back, and pulls everything together quite nicely. So it's kind of a good block of flavour with a few different bits going on. It doesn't change much across the sort of across the beer as it sort of sat in my mouth. It's the same sort of flavour as it goes on. There's not much finish to it either.
Right.
It sort of stays similar. Again, even in the finish. It's quite quick. It's a little bit dry. And it goes, pretty swiftly. But I'm left with the flavour. There's not really any bitterness to it. It doesn't turn sort of piney or anything. It just leaves me with those stone fruits, that soft stone fruit, and that little bit of sweetness in the background as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's a solid block of flavour, but it's a very nice, solid block of flavour. Not trying to take me on a journey at all. It's just like, here it is, bam. Okay, cool. It is a little bit cold. Took it out of the fridge. When did we get together? About half an hour ago, something like that. But it's probably still around sort of 5-6 degrees, something like that. So it's not incredibly cold. But we'll see what it's like if it warms up a little bit as we get into the episode, which we'll do now. We've been starting for 2024 on gaming news. I don't know whether there's anything big and significant that has come out within the last week in the realms of news past more people have lost their jobs.
Yeah, I was about to say it's just more layoffs.
I meant to open this. Now I have to find it. We found there's a couple studios which have bought themselves back.
Oh yes.
So
Saber.
Saber?
Saber bought themselves out of Embracer Group, I think.
Yes.
Huh?
And there was another one, but I can't remember. But this sounds great.
Good.
So
That's
just
positive.
yes.
I reckon
So
at least most of the staff, or at least some of them, would have kept their jobs in the transition.
Well, I
That's the
imagine
case.
that must be on the minds of anyone, any kind of management in a studio who is owned by a group or owned by a bigger publisher, who came from being independent, got bought out, and hasn't had a big kind of, I suppose, management shift, bringing company people in from side sort of parent company and stuff. You've got to be worried if you're that kind of studio. We we liked our independence. We've got a lot of security now. Oh shit, that could just be pulled out from under us.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the industry's going in cycles. But this seems, probably the worst we've seen in a long time in terms of the number of layoffs and the number of studio closures. Yeah, it's sad and it's scary, and it's the worst thing about it is just there's going to be worse products out there. Well, that's not the worst thing about it. The worst thing about it is people losing their jobs. But in terms of longevity of the industry, we're losing all that talent. Is a better way to rephrase it. These people probably can just go into a more stable industry, and we're going to lose so much institutional knowledge, which is sad.
It's an odd one in however many jobs have been lost. There won't be that many equivalent hiring positions in other studios. But of course, we'll see a little bit of that where bigger publishers like PlayStation, they've just gone, cool, let's just get rid of 900 people and shut is it the London studio they shut? And got rid of a few
There was
people
a picture
across.
circulating on Twitter of Jim Ryan visiting their studio literally days before the shuttering, and it's I mean, you get it, it is ultimately his decision, to be fair, him and the upper brass. And it's it's something where it's would he just not visit the studio? But it's I think whether Jim Ryan intended it to be or not, it's just tone deaf from his level, C-suite level.
I mean,
Very much.
That's always the case. The layoffs right before Christmas.
Yeah.
but like, yeah, I mean, this is all obviously like related to the fact that they just went on buying sprees based on COVID numbers, and it's like, well, that's insane.
Mm.
And now, but I read a good. It was either said a tweet thread, or a short article that was like, it's really interesting how, um, they can lay off 900 odd, like triple or quadruple digits of people, as an adjustment. But they don't fire the guy who made the mistake such that they were so bad in the books. It's
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
you got to keep your
it's
job
insane.
because there's 900 people, because you made a mistake. These people didn't even make a mistake, and they lose their jobs. And this
Yeah,
is just business as usual / as
it's just
expected. And it's like,
it's
ugh.
awful. And yeah, it's like, I mean, Embracer feels like a very. It felt like that was a point in time, and that just feels like a bubble. Even though they bought like studios that have been around for years and years and decades,
Hmm.
and that was a shame. But I think like when they went on their spending spree, it did seem like, oh, we know this bubble is gonna pop, for Embracer. There's no
Yeah.
way this is sustainable. But the fact that it's happening, like legacy studios, like London studio,
Yeah.
and places within Microsoft and Xbox and stuff like that. That's the fact that nobody is safe, so to speak, is what's sadder. And yeah, like I think London Studio were making a lot of VR games, was it?
Yes. Yeah. I think they were making a VR game, and their last product was a
Oh,
VR game as well. I
right,
think.
yeah. Which is okay. VR's very niche, so it's like, yes, that probably would be the first thing to go on the books, but it's not. It's not unique for Sony. Sony are
Absolutely.
very much seem to be focusing on very homogenized products, as is, and it's not just them. It's a lot of the industry, but it's sad that, like, you know we are channeling down like the AAA. Everything's got to be AAA. You know, games by committee, please everyone. And also, we're also laying off people at like Horizon, Gorilla, and
Naughty Dog and
Santa Monica,
yeah.
and who make these products. And it's like, what is it? Where's the balance? What are you, what are you doing? What is anybody doing? What do you want? What are you trying to strive for? Because
absolutely.
nothing seems
If
sustainable.
companies
What they're doing.
were maybe a little bit more transparent
Mhm.
in their practices. I mean, we don't know. We don't know whether with when Microsoft got rid of a bunch of people across kind of Activision Blizzard. We don't know with Sony. We don't know with anyone else whether, yes, it's 900 people, but actually, a bunch of those, or 1900 over at Microsoft, a bunch of those were actually contract workers, and their contract
Right.
was expiring, very soon. And it could all be rolled into one thing. We don't know the actual business that is kind of going on in the background. So the headline looks fucking awful, because it is ultimately. But understanding that suddenly, like Larian, Baldur's Gate 3 has done absolutely fantastically. They can fund themselves off of the back of that for an amount of time, and might then go, cool, we can now expand. We can take like 20 people on. They're not taking 900 people on. They're taking 20 people on. And another company which might have released a product in the last year, who again wants to expand that little bit, might take on 5 people. And so there's these small jobs coming up, and a little bit of the industry has always been a little bit sort of transient and a bit freelance in that sort of way, or a bit like contractual. Come on and work with us for this game, and that's kind of it. That's why you're here, sort of thing.
It's ironic that basically this is the same loop we've always had. It's just, it used to be, because like Activision was known for this, right, where they would just hire everyone for their big project and then fire everyone.
Yeah, fire.
And you didn't know if you were going to get back on their next thing or when the next project was, but you would be picked up by Ubisoft or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, everyone jumped into new shit, or like trying to capitalize on all the extra money coming in because of COVID, and when that all fell flat because a lot of these projects were cynically designed,
Mhm.
or just people have gone back to work and so can't play games all the time. Um, it's just now it's everyone at the same time, and we're seeing it, but it does seem bigger in volume as well.
Yeah.
I thought one thing I wanted to bring up was the so Helldivers 2 came out and it's gone gangbusters, and they've had struggled with the usual, oh no, we're the internet's darling video game and we didn't have the support, like the tech infrastructure, right?
Yeah, the
Like
servers, yeah, they're
servers and
just
stuff.
down all the time.
Um,
Yeah.
but the CEO actually came out and said, look, we could just hire a bunch of people to like solve this problem and just, but that's exactly where the games industry is fucking up. So bear with us. We're gonna try and figure it out with our team.
Oh, is that
And
what
if
they
trust
said?
us,
Oh, that's good.
they're working around the clock and they're busting their asses. But we're not just gonna throw the money we just got at this in a way that like isn't sustainable. And I was like,
That's yeah, like hire 2 people instead of 20.
Well,
Short for the short term game of like getting the servers back online and then firing those people in like 6 months when everything's stable and honky dory and the player base is strong. So
and
yeah, I
a
agree with that
mindset of
sentiment.
like we can do it ourselves, and also we don't needlessly need to expand. I think is the big.
Yeah, without working their people to death.
yeah,
There's a,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a there's a balance, but
And
I think
agreed. Yeah, it
with
sounds
what you're
like
saying and
that
getting
they're hitting that balance from reports, but
yeah,
like
that
that
makes sense.
attitude shift, I think, is like if we're ever going to emerge from late stage capitalism, it's going to be shit like this, where it's like
Well,
we don't need to
yeah,
expand. We can't expand. There's only so many gaming hours and gaming dollars.
that was the same with like respawn for Apex Legends when it blew up. Similar like this time of year, like God, what was that, like 5 years ago or
Yeah, it's
something
a
like
while
that,
back.
where it
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
Yeah.
jeez, where they were like, we're not going to work people to get death getting you new content for new seasons or whatever. It's like you gotta be patient and you've got to not be a instant gratification whore. Play another game. There's more of them.
Yeah, and ultimately a shift in the industry in the way that people kind of work needs to happen, and I imagine it on a scale it does in things like support studios. Not every game, not every big budget game is made by one studio. There's lots of support studios. There might be lots of people doing VFX from other kind of freelance people and companies that are brought in. Stuff like the tech side of things. And I don't know whether this exists. It probably does. But being able to bring in like a freelancer who specializes in that kind of thing. So you're not hiring people necessarily. You're just kind of contracting something out to a
a lot of tech.
subcontractor and going, cool, this is what we need. And okay, that might not be cost effective because they need to know the system that you're working on. They need to know the game, and there's lots of things that they would have to get up to speed on, I would imagine, to be able to assist. There might not be, actually. It might just be a simple like, cool, we can see where you can make some efficiencies, and actually where you can just plug in another server for X number of people additionally, kind of thing. And this is your plan to expand, kind of thing, in your tech side of the business. And I think it's obviously very difficult to start your own business up, to get work, to advertise, to let people know that you're out there, kind of thing. But I wonder whether we'll start to see, and I don't know whether in the indie space, whether it's much more like that cottage industry type thing. There's like 10 people, they're all working on their own projects, but actually they throw work to each other periodically when they need a little bit of extra support for different bits. And you have groups of people who are all just kind of working independently who go, oh, I just need some stuff done, can you help me out? Yeah, I'm a bit of a lull on the work that I'm doing, absolutely, I've got a week to be able to kind of help you. Cool, great, let's do that kind of thing. So you're not, it's not big companies,
that's what
and it's difficult on that
Microsoft
kind of scale.
I think that's what Microsoft were doing with a few of their like IPs. Like, was it? I can't even remember that game. Was that the first mention of like quadruple A game or whatever it was?
Skull and Bones.
Was it Project? Was it? No, this was pre Skull and Bones. Before we knew that was quadruple A. I think was it the Perfect Dark remake or something, and they were contracting out Crystal Dynamics or something like
Oh
that.
wow, okay.
So there is precedent for that,
Mm.
but no, I was more hoping that they're just going to go in the opposite direction and realize that, as you say, Adil, in like the example of like Helldivers 2, like we don't need such massive scope. We don't need a Final Fantasy, 3 games for the one. We you do. No one else. You two do. No one else in the entire history of the world ever needed more Final Fantasies. Or that's how I like to think the world operates, because that's what helps me sleep at night. Because thinking that anyone other but you two likes Final Fantasy is just disturbing. But anyway, yeah, I was hoping they were going to go in like the opposite direction, like smaller scope, smaller teams, smaller budget. Yeah, because I think it's a monster they created at the end of the day. Like people like in like, I don't know, something like a God of War, which could have definitely been. We play those games. It's like we always say, this could have been edited down. This could have smaller scope. This could, and still be just as fantastic. You see something,
or sometimes just cleanly better. Like the bloat
Yeah.
in AAA is such a thing.
Yeah, like I mean, the gameplay, the third-person gameplay in God of War is some of the best that's been like ever. So it's like, couldn't they have made a game with that USP, amazing gameplay, that's smaller, that doesn't need hours and hours, or like a 2 series game so far? Where if the narrative, and I get you want to make the second game because you want to make the use of that tech and that the assets and all that. I understand that, and I have no qualms with that at all. I get it, I understand it, but why does the first game have to be so blown up and take 7 years or whatever to have to justify
reuse
that?
all those assets in that game.
But
Why
make a
do
smaller
we have
game.
live
Make
service
a-
games? Because you can reuse all those assets all the time.
Absolutely.
Make a smaller game for smaller budget. It's
No.
It's not a case. No, but it's not like a case where we're literally in the early 2000s where it's like, what is this? Xbox arcade game. I would never pay even $20 for this because it's not. I didn't buy a disc for it. We're not in that realm anymore.
Yeah.
We have a completely new audience who will pick up a free-to-play game or a game that's cheaper, like Helldivers, or like a, I don't know.
Yeah, actually,
this, and there's a lot of that generation who have grown up on like, I don't know, iPhone games that cost £5, but they got years worth of entertainment out of it. We don't need to cater to an audience who are like, oh, 60. This, I want 75 hours for my $60 game. Like
people running the companies don't know what the fuck they're doing. Don't really understand video games, right? They don't even understand the markets they're in, right? Like,
yeah, are you
like-
telling me that if they made a God of War game that was $40 or $30, smaller in scope, but like, I don't know, you could change Kratos's beard, everyone would love it, Just like, all the God of War people are like,
switch between different religions. This is the Norse beard. This is the Christianity beard.
Yeah.
This is the Greek beard. Like, yes, that's the beard styles.
Yeah.
But they did. They especially with the God of War example, they brought out Valhalla, which was kind of free DLC to Ragnarok, which is this.
They could have made that a game.
I mean, and it's
the game.
What is it? Is it a? It's almost like a roguelike, right? It's like a run-based boss battle type thing.
Exactly what it is.
And absolutely, that could have come out £15, sure, but they want people to buy in to the
big one,
the series, not even that one. The
I'm just saying, why couldn't have that been the original concept for God of War?
Well, maybe
that kind of like smaller scope.
Sure,
thing.
I guess no one had that idea at the time they were looking to refresh it, perhaps. But
I think I would just say I think Lucius hit on a really good. So video games are luxury goods, right? And so their demand is elastic, and so people can get undercut. But we've basically had big studio collusion for things like because of going through consoles and having consoles have a standard MSRP per disc, and that framework is what we still kind of have. There's like a
Yeah.
price for a game, but actually between the PCification of everything, we're starting to see games at other price points, and I don't think it's um, a coincidence that like Helldivers 2 has a lower barrier to entry, and it became viral in a way that other games, I like full price games, just I don't right. I think like yeah, it'd be interesting to look at the darlings of the internet, the
Mhm.
big bad games and their average price point. Because like I'm thinking Vampire Survivors, I mean Pen Pal Buddies, whatever it's called. How much was that? Was that a full
Like
price game? Pokemon
Pen Pal
for
Buddies.
Guns fanatics.
Oh, Pal World,
Yeah, that's the one. Sorry.
Valheim, like
Yeah, all of
a
these
lot of
are.
these are smaller scope, you know.
Yeah, they're well, not
Like
even
even if they're
like.
sandboxes.
Yeah, there might be big scope because they're sandboxes and they're in early.
No, I'm just saying,
Yes.
even if they are sandboxes, that doesn't necessarily mean bigger scope.
Yeah, it just means
You
it's
can
a
just
gameplay style. But like, yeah, they
Yeah.
seem to be smaller packages and smaller prices, and these smaller medium-sized studios are making way more money than if they were the arm of a big, like the studio underneath an umbrella, doing all the FIFA animations or whatever. Like, whatever that you get slagged with, like, oh, we just update the animations and the engine's the same, so we don't want you to actually do anything fun, right? Like that kind of crap job.
Yeah.
Like, those individual people are probably generating less money because they're just a cog in a big thing,
Mm-hmm.
like as a unit. Right?
But
I think
I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if we actually get more of this fracturing of the space. I guess, right, where
yeah,
smaller games,
but there
we already
should
know
be.
free to
There
play
should be.
was a big thing because of capitalism ruining everyone, and then they found ways of making that like prohibitively expensive, and like your Call of Duties have season passes and whatever, right? But now the base game, I think, hopefully will be under threat. Just that $80 game or whatever it is.
But and it's like there's room for those studios, like let's say From Software or I mean Insomniac or something like that. They make those games aren't cheap, but they
Yeah.
make them at not a churn, but they make them quite quickly, and they don't have to be. There's only so many studios that have that like kind of money that can have that massive scope, like Rockstar or maybe just Rockstar.
yeah.
And it's like there's room for those kinds of studios, and rooms for those kind of games. But I don't think anyone is admonishing, say, a smaller studio with a smaller scope to game just because Elden Ring is like the biggest thing ever. I think people recognize now that there's different types of scopes, different types of games, and I don't understand this audience that these AAA studios are continually appealing to, what trying to appeal to, and the numbers suggest that they're probably not buying every game anyway. So I don't get it. It's like, yeah, just narrow the scope, narrow the budget, keep people employed, and you're probably going to come out with a better, more nuanced, more refined product anyway. That didn't take 7 hours of people sleeping under their desks and just phoning in at the end because they want it to be done. So I don't know. It's a mess.
On a slightly different tangent, I did have a quick look on Steam just at some of these costs. So Helldivers is like 35 quid. Valheim is just over £15. Obviously all kind of multiplayer-ish kind of games as well. And I thought, I wonder what something like that is purely multiplayer, like PUBG is. I didn't realise that is a free game. Obviously, it must generate their money through battle passes or season passes or
that's
kind of
still
that
huge,
kind of stuff.
yeah.
And unfortunately, I didn't foresee my my typing, and I just typed in PU to bring up what to find PUBG in the search, and
Column.
so lots of there's not quite as many as you would think. In the top 5 that come up are PUBG Battlegrounds, Pummel Party, don't know what that is.
Pussy. That's where you're leaving. Isn't it?
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Pumpkin Patch,
Okay.
Marvel Puzzle Quest, that's a free game, and then Magic Pussy Chapter 2. Like, oh good, yes, amazing.
Oh,
That's
I mean,
only
at least it's like what,
that's
fifth?
only £7.80. That's we're talking about this kind of scale of games. Just move
there
into
a bundle,
porn games.
Ben?
Sorry.
Is there a bundle?
No, is there a... Oh, I have clicked on it to see if there's a bundle, and Jesus Christ, I should not have clicked on this. Is there a bundle? There is a bundle. You can buy Sex Magic, Magic Pussy Chapter 1, and Magic Pussy Chapter 2 for £12.17.
That's a savings. That's gotta be what, like £8 savings or something stupid like that.
Yeah, it's 33% off. Yeah, that's £6 in savings.
We always end up here. Yep.
I don't know. I think Steam just needs
All
to
roads.
close Steam forever. I think just never open it up again. Like, Jesus. Yeah, good. So it's a difficult space. It's a difficult time as well for lots and lots of people. But as you say, Lucy, I think the ultimate issue, even with a lot of this being kind of cyclical, is maybe it's more the scale that it is right now, and how it's not necessarily as cyclical in bringing and maintaining that talent. So a lot of the people that have kind of come in will just disappear and find other jobs.
Yeah.
And the sadist in me is like happy that the AAA industry is imploding and interested to see where we go next.
People that, so like you said, not like if I'm not sure the industry will support that many people who were in those jobs, and so they'll just go into other programming and coding jobs or art jobs or whatever. Like you said, Ben, we don't even know who was mostly fired. I will say, one direction that the editor might be going to, you've kind of hinted at, because I stupidly opened Steam, scrolled down, and I swear the things are listening to us. Because guess what? The #1 new and trending game is.
If it's not Balatro, I'm gonna riot.
I'm looking forward to hearing your take on that.
Is it Magic Pussy 2?
No, it's currently 37% off, and it's Sex Campus.
Sex Campus.
Yeah, that's why I don't know if you heard me snort like 2 minutes ago, because I was like, what?
No, I saw your face and I was like, I knew it's going to come back to this conversation. That not 2 point.
2 point campus, no, just Sex Campus.
No,
I like how it's Sex Campus 18. There's like an 18 with a line through it kind of thing as well.
Yeah, actually, it's capital SEX, so it's Sex Campus.
You can also buy that in a bundle with Hot Office Sex Story.
And
I mean, at least there's a bundle. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
On its own, never in a bundle. Absolutely. Because I'm so tired of these. It's like, I mean, it's like, once you play one, it's like you just get inured to it, and you need that. You need to keep chasing that high. I need a bundle.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. One just doesn't do it for me anymore. I need at least 5
in a day.
In one night.
Roll, yeah.
I have to read this out loud. It's episode 400. We can go off the rails. Welcome to the exciting world of Sex Campus 18, where freshman Nick embarks on an incredible journey through real student life. But in this college, every day is a new stage in the game Hot Pie, where real-life quests are intertwined with fun and intriguing tasks. That sounds like a shit. How do you make a porn game sound garbage and boring?
I know. That was like, what? God, that sounds like real university.
Oh, what's Hot Pie?
But also, like how apparently on Sex Campus, there's a game with quests called Hot Pie. Like, do you not know how to write? Is that the problem? I don't know. I wanted to make a game, so I'll just make levels.
Did they miss out the word cream or something?
Daily levels of university. What'd you say?
Did they miss out the word cream?
No,
Oh.
they missed an opportunity. If you can call it that. Yeah, well,
What's going
development
on?
Romantic Room. Oh, it came out today. That's why. It
I'm
came
gonna
out
get a beer.
That's why it's new and trending.
Go on, Lucy.
It came out
Lucy.
I'll see
today.
you in a second.
Go and get a
After
beer.
you've talked about this smut some more.
That's it. We just
What
talk
a
about
strange.
smut for hours now. No, not at
Yeah.
all. Not at all.
Well, my Steam's now forever ruined.
You'll just be given like hot and trending. Yeah, that's what it is. It's never been like, hot in terms of what everyone's playing. It's just been sex games and trending games, just
Oh, it
interspersed between each other.
Yeah, but Microcosmum 2, that's a real game.
Microcosm 2.
Yeah, it's like a puzzly microorganism-y game. Simulation, sorry. Microcosmum, you never heard of this?
I think so.
I heard of the first one. I didn't realize the second one was around. I assume it's also new today. Although Spirit Fall is also on new and trending, and it's just very sad that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spots lower. I'm thinking of Spirit Chaser. What's Spirit Fall? That's a hack.
I don't know. I don't know what Spirit Fall is.
Yeah, I thought I knew what the game was, but my brain is just broken from realizing that Sex Campus No 18 is a game.
Too many sex games have just ruined it for everybody. But I mean, Steam is the kind of place to go for.
It's always been the place.
Variety and scale of games. Ultimately, there's lots of, even in that kind of new and trending. I said hot and trending, but it's not new and trending.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of differently priced and very different styles of games kind of within that, which was just released kind of now. But the other piece of news, I think, which rolls through from this, not to do with Steam necessarily, but to do more, as we were saying, like Saber bought themselves out from Embracer. Remedy have bought the rights to Control. So,
really?
Yeah, it was owned, I think, like Control as the IP was owned by 505 Games, and Remedy have now bought the rights back. So again, studios doing well enough, and I would imagine this is maybe off the back of Alan Wake 2 doing well enough.
I don't think it sold well,
Alan Wake 2, really?
Actually, I know, but I don't think Remedy's games or ever sell that well. But to be fair, I think it was the physical sales, which they couldn't track all the digital sales because it was digital only, so that may have been the reason why.
Right.
But I imagine if that went to physical, it would have sold better, which is a crazy thing. Yeah, I couldn't believe that wasn't physical. I get the reason why. That costs a lot, but it's just like, it was weird that it was only digital. I think digital only and Epic only, and that's why it wasn't the best barometer for total sales or whatever, or how well that game did. But I don't think it sold as well as people think.
It was the fastest selling Remedy game, but again, as you point out, I mean, Control ended up selling something like 4 million over time, and they're already at 1.3 million as of mid-February for Alan Wake 2.
Decent, and I think their games probably don't cost that much because everyone in Scandinavia is like a kind of wizard with tech and stuff like that. Those studios are like pretty good on the tech
made by
side.
Like 3 people, so it's
So all the money went to Sam Lake for his likeness. That's what it was. Like, we got to pay the celebrity for his.
I see. There's an article on Game Rant from mid-Feb, which says it's titled Alan Wake Alan Wake is Remedy's fastest selling game, and then there's a bit that doesn't load in. But the tagline, Alan Wake 2 sales development cost report, Alan Wake 2 has sold to break even in 2024.
Brilliant.
1.3 million copies to date, and its estimated development cost was in the ballpark of 75 million. And what was
Okay,
it was like 40 quid, I think, something like that.
Was it?
£45.
Oh wow. Okay.
Again, not a
I thought it
like
was like
70
AAA.
pound,
That kind of-
£60 game. No, it's a
Interesting.
cheaper product. And not only that, over that Christmas period when Epic were doing like a £10 voucher, Alan Wake 2 was on sale, so it was already like 33% off. So it was already like £30, and then there was this like £10 off voucher as well. So people could pick it up for like 20-25 quid.
I see it on sale quite
have
a
to
lot.
pay
Yeah.
it through
Makes sense.
Epic. But yeah, it's I don't know.
Did you pick it up for real, Ben?
No, I still haven't. I
Okay,
still haven't
not
picked
yet.
it up yet. It's kind of the next thing on my list that I want to get to from last year. But yeah, I will be one of those extra people at some point across this year when at the end of 2025
probably.
Remedy go, they have their sales investors call and they go, yep, Alan Wake 2 has sold 2.5 million, 3 million over the year and a half that it's been released, kind of thing.
Which studio you always want to root for?
Yeah. Absolutely. But it's interesting again. Where did that money come from for Control? I think it was quite an expensive.
Published.
Quite an expensive.
Was it still
cost.
505?
It was 505.
Published.
505 are the ones who originally published it. I'm just going to try and see if I can say Control rights. Oh no, Control rights.
Didn't they get Didn't they? Are they partly owned or have a Tencent have a stake in them? Don't they, or like is it a minority stake, or did they only pay for that? Control, was it Control, like multiplayer spin-off or something like that?
I don't know.
I think maybe Tencent have like a minority stake in them or something. So or at least Tencent would have invested in them. So
Okay.
What I would personally do is make the multiplayer game for like on a budget of 50 quid, and apportion the rest of it to make my actual game. I don't know if there's any legalities in that, but I'd find the same accountants that say all these other AAA studios have to sort that out on the books.
I'm having a quick look at the investors like briefing for the sale of it, and it looks like they paid 17 million euros for the rights to Control 2 as well.
So they did the same for Alan Wake, didn't they? So they've certainly got that down pat. That kind of
get someone to pay for our game. Get someone to pay to make our game. They make all of the
when
money.
the
And we're just kind of like, well, we make some of the
Duracell
money.
licenses have run out, then we'll swoop in.
Yeah. This says so Remedy's CEO Tero Vitala says some stuff about 505 and their relationship, good partnership. But yeah, Controller sold over 4 million units and generated shareable net revenue of approximately 100 million euros to Remedy and 505 games. So I don't know what that split would be.
Yeah.
But again, if Control, Alan Wake 2 was 75 million. Okay, there's lots of, from what I've seen, there's lots of kind of interspersed, kind of real life filmed elements to that. There's a whole load of tech in the background. It does that whole sort of, similarly with Control, it does the whole thing where you've got like multiple images that overlay with each other and all of those kinds of like techniques that kind of come in. Control couldn't have been a cheap game to make either.
No, and that's what made. I mean, it is a very well made game, but that's what surprised me so much about it. And I mean, no shade at all to Control, because I think it's a very good game. But it didn't seem like a massive step up from their previous game, gameplay wise. And
Yeah.
personally, I mean, I'm sure if you look at them side by side and you look at like, tech breakdowns, there's probably a lot more going on. But in terms of like what you saw on screen and a gameplay experience wise, for me as a consumer, it wasn't that much of a massive upgrade on Quantum Break.
I was gonna say, I think the key is nobody fucking played Quantum Break, and so why? Like, in a certain sense, this is like a way of doing that reusing thing that we talked
Mhm.
about in the
Mhm.
last bit of our conversation, kind of better, right? It's like, okay, so we like this gameplay, we like what we've developed with, because a lot of Quantum, like the bones of control are in Quantum Break, right? Like you said, like, a lot of the
Absolutely.
powers and stuff aren't that dissimilar. The physics, I'm sure, is the same engine or very similar.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, that's okay because the game is very different and the tone is very different and the characters are different. And it's like, oh, you've made, you know, a new
Mhm.
game, a really great game using some bits you already had. That's great. That's very
Mhm.
different from here's 70 hours of God of War because we didn't want to edit the script. And now here's another 70 hours because we didn't want to have to rebuild anything. Oh, but we did rebuild everything, with
Mhm.
7 more polygons.
Mhm. Yes.
And then we had to fire Polygon adding Boy because, well, he's not needed anymore, right? Those are very different like situations.
Yeah, and it's a crazy thing because I feel like Remedy's games are all very distinct from each other. They feel
Yeah.
even though yes they are technically corrected in the Remedy universe,
Mm.
they always did something new gameplay wise, even if they're in like the same
Which that makes sense.
franchise. So that's why it was a bit jarring from like Quantum Break to Control, and Control being so lauded.
Hmm.
I was like, this is not that much better than Quantum Break for me, you know. So yeah,
The story
I
was
don't
leaps
know.
and bounds,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah,
So that's like
yeah.
that's
I'm
what I mean.
talking
It's
about
like, oh,
more gameplay, but yeah,
yeah,
the setting, the weirdness, the tone of
the
Control
lack of
is way better
television
than
shows.
yeah, and lack of Windows phones that they crammed into that because it was Xbox produced. But
Oh man.
yeah,
Also, it's
way
funny actually.
better. But I'm just saying,
I
like
think Quantum
gameplay
Break or something
wise,
like it would do a lot better now. When did Quantum Break come out? 2016? All right.
Maybe if not earlier,
2014,
14 or 15, maybe.
14 or 15. I think it was.
2016 on the dot.
Oh, is it?
I
When's
tend to
Control
think.
then? 18
Yeah.
No.
or 19, maybe 2019.
When was? No, is that Quantum Break the Xbox version? Because it
Quantum
obviously
Break
would have
was
come to the.
2016, Windows, Xbox One,
Because I knew
and
it
Control
came
was
out
2019.
later. 2019. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I
But
was like,
like,
there's no way it's too
one,
late.
it's kind of crazy to think about, but like streaming video has gotten so much better. But like Quantum Break, because it was 2016, they couldn't have HD quality video streaming reliably. So one of the things that you had to do was
You have to
either just
download it.
download it or stream it at a really shitty rate, and it was really clumsy as like a piece of technology. How they tried to get the TV show part to you was just bad
It
because
was.
we didn't have
It
high
was.
bandwidth
It
and we didn't
was.
have. Sorry.
But I'd say less than that experience being bad of like downloading it. I think it's maybe because I'm used to that now because of like, I'm just downloading gun skins and it's taking up the whole of
Yeah,
my
yeah.
1 terabyte. Maybe I'm just more used to that and I
But
need
also
to put myself back in that 2016. But I'm
yeah.
saying it was more that the TV show was just bad.
Oh,
Mm.
great. No, I'm saying that
That
was
was
like a
worse than the
big
experience.
offense and they just whiffed, right?
Yeah.
I didn't mind the TV show, but I didn't think it
Neither did
added enough
I.
for it to be a
Neither did
thing.
I.
But I'm just
It
saying
had that
one of
like
the
kind
things.
of really hazy like NCIS kind of
Yeah,
filter to
but like
things with
I do
Windows
think
phones
that
everywhere.
the delivery being like not great because the average like even in the UK, which is much like faster than like in Canada, it would have taken fucking ever. I remember these were like 30 gigs of files, which in 2016 on a crappy cable internet or DSL just couldn't play the game properly then, right?
Yeah, and I think we all just became used to like, yeah, I'm gonna have to if I want to play this game, I have to
I heard you.
download it 2 days in advance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked what it was trying to do, and it's like very much, Ben, you are seeing the fruits of that labor, that kind of experimentation in Alan Wake 2. So it's like, in the end, was it all worth it? Especially if it was on Microsoft's dime, maybe, you know. So, but yeah, like I thought it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting experiment.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I had greater respect for what Quantum Break was doing, especially as it laid the groundwork for better games like Control, like Alan Wake 2. So I think, like, wouldn't say I ever liked that game. Sort of like in the same breath that I say, oh, I love Sunset Overdrive. I think it's like probably better than what Insomniac are doing now, even though I still love Spider-Man 1. But anyway, I mention it in those same hush tones, perhaps.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, this was the one. Not quite a cult classic because I don't really have any fun with Quantum Break either.
But it's very Remedy, isn't it? Like in what they're doing.
Exactly. Remedy, right?
Yeah.
Alan Wake is too Remedy.
Well,
and it had the most infuriating last boss as well, which is just a
Break?
no. Yeah.
I never finished it. I think I was.
Well, you saved yourself some pain.
Oh, it's weird because then it's like
I skipped some of the TV show at the end. I was like, just.
I got it. I think free or something with my Xbox. And so, but they at that time they gave you a PC and an Xbox copy.
Nice.
The code. So every time I open up the Xbox app, for Game Pass reasons, I see it in my library. I'm like, oh, I could finish that game, and it's like, oh, I don't even know if the cloud save would work, let alone me knowing what the fuck is going on.
The cloud save would definitely work.
Oh, I mean, like in my brain.
Oh no, definitely wouldn't.
It would put me in the middle of that game, like,
what's going on?
And I'd just be like in a room, and I wouldn't know what powers I had, why, who was whom.
I have also done the Game Pass quest.
Place. Sorry,
I've also done the Game Pass quest for Quantum Break. It's actually quite an easy game to pick up. Maybe because I play Control, but they're not so similar. But the controls are very intuitive in that sense, because it is just like an action game. It isn't like I don't know.
I remember liking the gameplay.
It's great. It's actually very good.
Let's roll back around to the beginning of this conversation before we move on.
It's still news.
It's still news. Just in thinking a little bit more about Remedy and what they do. I had a quick look because obviously I don't know. They're doing a Max Payne remaster as well. How much is that going to cost? What are they actually doing with that kind of thing? But I wanted to know who actually owns Max Payne, because Max Payne 3 was a Rockstar game. And
they might have brought that back as well.
No, they haven't. They haven't currently. Take-Two own Rockstar, and they own they own the Max Payne IP. Yeah. They bought it off of Remedy and Apogee for $10 million. So again, like Remedy, like doing business kind of like both ways, right? They're like, cool, yeah, have the rights. And Max Payne 2 is being developed between. Sorry, not Max Payne 2. The remaster of 1 and 2 is being developed between Take-Two, Rockstar, and Remedy. They've got an agreement between themselves that actually, because Take-Two, I think it says, Remedy will collect royalties on the game after Rockstar has recouped its funding from development and publishing. So, again, like business.
Rockstar Remedy, only did GTA.
Remedy just as a company, just kind of seem to know how to do business, but
you got a wheel and deal. If Sam Lake turned up to my venture capitalist firm, I'd before he stepped, I'd be like, I'd look at the name and be like, Sam Lake, give him all the money.
It's fine, leave it in his hands.
As long as his likeness is in the game.
Yeah.
Give
I was gonna say,
should we open some more beers?
Yeah.
Open some beers and think of Sam Lake. Lucy, you went and got a beer.
That's not how that saying goes.
I couldn't think of anything better. Yes, I did. And I actually got a crossover Blendery beer because we talked about it and this was in the fridge. This is called Mackerel Skies. And this is their 2023.
Mackerel as in the fish.
As in the fish, yeah. They have some interesting names. don't know what their naming convention is based on, but their beers are good. It's best before 2043 because, like I say, this is a mixed firm beer. The brewing season was 19 to 20, 20 to 21, 21 to 22. This is their second blend because I remember having Mackerel Skies. I imagine that would be in 2022.
Right.
It's a golden ale, a blend of 1, 2, and 3-year-old golden ales, spontaneously fermented and aged in neutral French oak barrels, bottle conditioned, unfiltered, and unpasteurized. Yeah, I think if I went on the website, I'd probably figure out a bit more what's gone into it, but that's all that is on the bottle.
Yeah, fair. Adol, what are you opening up now?
I've got. So the last one was a nice, delicate, nuanced, light, touched beer, and this time I've got a Tartarus.
Python.
Tartarus is Python. It's a salted caramel brownie imperial stout.
Nice.
We talked last week about me having the Tartarus barley wine on the podcast, but I completely forgot to put that in the fridge.
I did. It's one of the reasons why I grabbed it, Lucy. But it is. So its hops are Bramling, Cross, and Jester. Its adjuncts are salt, caramel, chocolate, and vanilla. And it's a mild 12.6%.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I might not have a third beer, guys.
Yeah, that's fair.
Kind of having 3 in 1 right
If
now.
there's ever a time
that
you can sleep in tomorrow.
Absolutely. I will. The other 2 beers I picked up, which I may have next week or the week after. I think they're bigger beers again to save for podcasting with. But I did pick up Putty Triple T, so the triple version.
Well, to be honest, I had the putty. You can have the putty. I'll give it to you, Ben. I'll seed that one.
Well, you get it as well. We can all drink it.
I don't know where to find it. I don't care.
And the other one that was in consideration for this evening was a Arbor and Emperor's collab, which was again a 10% stout. I can't remember what it was called, but it's something nutty, and it's like, yeah, absolutely, I'll buy that. Of course, I'll buy that. I seen it on the shelf, like, yes. Why would I not just pick that up instantly? I mean, depending on how we go, I might go to the fridge and get it later. But what I'm going to drink now is a Cloudwater Dipper. It's the 9th birthday beer. Dipper, 9th birthday. I did double check when I bought it just to see when it was canned and those kinds of things. It was only canned at the start of exactly a month ago, in fact. So hopefully it's quite fresh. It's 8%, but Cloudwater don't put a huge amount on the can, so it doesn't tell me what is in here. It doesn't give me allergens. All it gives it, so only barley, oats, and wheat, because they're allergens. That's the only thing I know that's actually in here. Trying to look anywhere else on the can, but I don't know. So yeah, Cloudwater a 9, established in 2015. So it says, in a tiny little bubble on the can that they've got. But we love a Cloudwater double IPA. So again, this was a very much kind of like, oh, get that quick.
Is that the sorry, what was the percentage?
8.
Because there's a birthday dipper and there's a birthday double dry hop bitter. Have you got the?
Oh, this just says dipper.
Because I was like, the one that I drank was 8%, and the one on their website, I think Cloudwater are just absolutely phoning it in. Just like, because there's a double dry hopped IPA. So I guess, okay.
So you got several birthday beers.
Yes, they do. They have the birthday pale, the birthday dipper, and the birthday double dry hop dipper.
Right.
The DDH is a separate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, I
I
did
did
see
have a
all
double
3 in the
IPA
shop.
that's like 6%. That's not double. unless your double is like completely for taxing purposes.
Well, it's not a double
you
IPA.
know.
It's just doubly dry hopped, I guess.
Yeah.
No, but they have on their website. There's a birthday dipper, and it's 6%.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wait, what?
well,
Um,
they've just typed that wrong.
I think
Yeah.
it's wrong.
Yeah.
Because
As I said,
I'm on Beer
very
Merchants, and the DIPA that's not a DDH is
Yeah.
8%. And it says
I'll
so.
send it to you,
Yeah.
Adil, just to make sure that
Yeah, please do.
my eyes are not double crossed from the
6s and 8s, they look
6.3%.
similar. Absolutely.
Where do you start?
No, on their website. But anyway, I think it's probably just a typo on their website. But yours, Ben, should say birthday dipper explodes with juicy flavors, showcasing Citra and Idaho 7 hops with Nelson Sauvin at its core. Candy
Okay.
floss aromas on the
Oh.
nose make way for a full, chewy body, complemented by refined, finest gooseberry notes.
Ooh.
Um,
Okay.
I know what happened.
Mm.
They have flipped the percentages of the DDH DIPA and the DIPA on the description.
Okay.
Because
Right.
all three cans have in very big bubbly letters the ABVs, and you
Yes.
can see in the picture on that website
Yes.
the DDH is a 6%. You can see on Ben's can that the DIPA is an 8%.
Yep. Absolutely. Tell Cloudwater they got it wrong. 8.
I
Get your
will.
fucking shit together,
Angry.
guys.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of how I felt about the beer. Spoilers. Well, it's not spoilers for how Ben's going to feel. He may feel in a completely different way, but I had it last week, and it just didn't quite capture the Cloudwater of old.
Okay.
It's a fairly decent beer.
It smells nice so far.
Enough. Yeah, but just...
Yeah. All right. We'll roll around through all of these beers. Lucy,
Shall.
we'll start with you first with the crossover blendery.
Yes, the Mackerel Skies. It's amberish in colour.
You said it was a golden ale.
Yes. So, yeah, a bit lighter than amber. Golden. Golden's probably the accurate colour. Yeah, the smell-wise, it smells like pretty much like old British hops that you'd consider like, I don't know, like Fuggles or something. Something that you'd very much have like a old man cask pub.
Or like it seems to be in everything at the moment. Bramling Cross just seems to have had this bit of a resurgence recently. Just seems around everywhere.
Good. Use more of our local hops. They're good. Like kind of, what is it, Kentish Golden, stuff like that. Yeah, it smells like that. A bit farty. a bit malty, a bit farty. Yeah. Yeah, quite a bit of carbonation still. Oh, that's nice. It's got a decent amount of body. And it's got quite a nice, like, moorish, malty, sitting by the fire kind of, like, even though it's a, technically a sour, it feels like something that you could very much have, like, in the winter, sat by the fire.
Nice. What kind of soury elements are there to it then? Is it kind of like, is it more of a cross a crossover blendery? Is it more of a crossed kind of beer? Is it sort of sitting in between a couple of styles perhaps?
I think it's just very much that typical like Brettanomyces, like kind of acidity more so than like got that like lemon or lime or anything like fruity acidity. It just feels like, oh, this is very much the the yeast and the bacteria creating that like sourness. It's very much more leaning into not the fruitiness, but more that the malts and the grains and everything like that that's gone into it. Very much like a golden ale, but it doesn't have, as I said, it's a mixed firm beer, so it has that sourness, it has that puckeriness, but that's less from fruit and more from the way the beer is made,
right.
The conditioning and the fermentation. It's got that depth from those years of blending. That's really nice.
Good.
As I say, it's got those layers of depths, and it's got yes, the kind of like caramel maltiness to it. It's
Ooh.
really, really like when you drink like I don't know, stouts and porters, you get that like kind of caramel essence. This
A
has got
little
like that.
richness to it.
Yeah, that's got that in spades, but it's like it's something you can miss if you just pay attention to that sourness. But
Okay.
on the back end of the taste, it just comes in its droves if you're really paying attention to it. And it's got that caramel malty depth. It's really nice.
Good.
I'm back to beer territory now, so I'm very happy. Couldn't tell.
Nice. To go to the complete opposite end of the scale,
Yeah.
Adel. It's something to knock your socks off, I think.
Yes, so it poured with probably a finger of very brown, lingering head. But in the time since I poured, it's all actually kind of gone away. But it's
Like honeycomb-esque.
yes. Speaking of which, that's what it smells like. I literally, I as I inhale, you said honeycomb. Like, yeah, this smells like a crunchy bar, like a somehow fresh from the factory crunchy bar.
Nice.
Oh, you know what it is? The Everyman, in Bristol.
Mm-hmm.
Like fancy theater with the like recliners and whatnot. They have basically honeycomb covered in chocolate, like homemade.
Yeah.
And that's what this smells like not crunchy, but actual. So good.
Like with a nice chocolate coating to it, rather than like a super thin kind of just covering.
And like real chocolate. So I'm like getting obviously a lot of caramel that's happening, but there's also a lot of like rich chocolate. I would say like thankfully I had to double check because I almost bought multiple beers with lactose in them.
Again.
But this is vegan. But it does kind of smell like milk chocolate and honeycomb.
Nice.
So much more of the caramel brownie. I'm assuming the salt is, just added to salted caramel, just makes it come through.
Yeah.
It was so viscous. Immediately on tasting it, I'm like, yep, that's 12%. This is a thick beer, man.
Like oil, or is it like just thicker?
Thicker. Not like, but like, look, basically, even if it didn't taste kind of strong, I would know it's like above 10%. Like it's just got that viscosity. It's not trying to hide it either. So getting the salt as like a low level, which is really good because all it's doing is enabling the salted or the caramel and the brownie. Interestingly, it's almost, I think the stout and then the malts in the stout are kind of shaping that caramel to be much more like toffee than caramel.
Right.
And I can taste that bit of salt all the way through, and it's just enhancing everything. Just a light saltness that's still a bit there on the finish, which is a bit distracting when I focus on it, but it's super low level. Is not a big deal otherwise. But like, the malts are so forward that like I've got this nice burnt taste on the finish, and that coupled with the caramel is making it much more toffee-like, which is great for me because I love toffee. It's also, I think, probably what was giving it more honeycomb than just strict caramel.
Okay.
It's not sickly sweet. I mean, I think the brownie, so it's got some lovely chocolate notes. And the brownie in there, I think, is really just noting that like the cacao is melding so much with the like high sugar content, that it tastes like a rich brownie. So it's not that it has the other ingredients. I think it's just like a rich, sweet chocolate, and again that toffee like caramel. This is delectable. This is a dessert. This is like if I was chewing it, it's not quite that viscous, but if I was chewing it, I would really like it. But it finishes with just the right bit of bitterness that reminds me this is a nice stout. This is really good. I'm assuming if I spent some time, I could find the vanilla, but I actually kind of don't want to because it's clearly helping with that. I think it's probably what's helping round out that sweetness, and the
Yeah.
fact that I'm not noticing it means it's interesting because it's in the adjuncts, but it's not in the name, right? So I don't think you're supposed to feel it, and which again, I mean, it's Tartarus, where I'm not surprised that this just is working as intended. It's saying all the things and doing it in a way that's both a salted caramel brownie, but also a really good imperial, like big imperial stout, while being a brownie,
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
You see, a part of me wanted to put my Tartarus beer in the fridge, but now, after that description, I'm like, what if mine's not as good? So I'll just stick with what I was
Oh,
going
it's a very good beer. I kind of bought it on a whim. I was like, oh, I went to the Hop Knocker earlier today, and I was just like, oh, what should I? Like, I knew I wanted to pick up one of these the wild flower beers, because I knew they had a couple in the fridge that no one was buying, but I was like, oh yeah, let's go, and yeah,
Let's indulge.
You generally not go wrong with the Tartarus.
yeah, well, except for your pocketbook.
Yeah.
I bought like 3 beers and they were over 20 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
your
like I
liver is
said,
thanking you.
the bottle that I just drank earlier was on offer, so it was down to 4, I think.
That's all right. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
4 for a
it's not
bottle.
bad.
Yeah. Wow.
yeah. I might go
Time
back
to use
tomorrow.
it,
Actually, pick up. They have 2 other
Mm.
bottles. I might pick them up in the end, anyways.
And
Anyway, this is great. If you can
Benny
find it
thinking
and
about
it's
you.
not too expensive, drink it, buy it.
I will. Yeah, I see Tartarus in my local bottle shop now and then, so I always pick up like the most expensive and boozy one, just in case, you know.
I mean, what did I do?
Yeah.
And I mean, if you don't drink it, it just goes in the stash until sort of next winter, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's-
yeah. As Adil was describing his beer, and I was looking at Ben just, well, you know, patiently sniffing his.
Oh.
I thought it was a Bailey's. You know, like,
Okay.
yeah, I was just
What
thinking.
birthday was
I
that?
mean,
chocolate decadent thing.
yeah. It is quite light in color, but yeah, not quite kind of
Looked a bit
creamy,
browner
is
in
it?
the,
yeah.
I meant to share this
shadows.
on Discord, but sorry, what anniversary is Cloudwater celebrating?
9th.
Yeah, you know who else had a 9th birthday? On February 24th.
Us.
No.
Yep, tanked
Yeah.
up.
Oh. I'm like, who?
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
I thought you were on about a
Was
brewery.
that the Twitter? That was the Twitter, though, right?
Sorry?
That was the Twitter, I think.
Oh no, so I have in my Google Calendar, I have the tanked up birthday.
Oh, nice.
So on the 24th it came up, I'm like, I wonder what number it is. I'm like, oh, how am I gonna figure this out? But then I remembered when we switched and moved into Out of Lives, I think it was mostly Ben and someone else who's no longer on the team, painstakingly made a post for every episode that had been made with the correct date,
Oh.
so that it wouldn't fuck up the order of
Yep.
things.
Yeah.
And could be done whenever people had times. There was like a couple weeks where the new episodes were up, but like episodes 1 through 13 were only in the archives or
Sure.
whatever, right? And so, yeah, my advice was just hack the dates. It'll be the simplest. And so people volunteered to do that, and that's how I know it's February 24th.
Oh, wow. Was that episode 1?
Episode 1.
Wow.
You and
Okay,
Malpass. This is like 2 weeks before I moved to back, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And we move into Malpasses, I think, on episode 3. Actually, I should look that up.
Yeah, maybe 3 or 4. Yeah.
Or 3 or 4, yeah.
Nice.
that
So
is
next
in my
year will
calendar
be
now.
this time next year will be, or not quite this time, but
Will be-
a week earlier. This time next year will be our 10-year anniversary
That's
as
nice.
well.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, older than my children. I
That
mean,
really
you know,
was.
start a podcast without children. Of
And more
course, you've
beloved
got all
than
the
your
time.
children.
You've got all the time in the world to do a podcast before you have children, and then suddenly like,
Oh, no, I lied. I'm not until episode 7.
oh
I
wow,
think.
okay.
No, I took over in episode 7.
You're basically as new as me.
400 episodes, and you both just
He's
done
an
like 10.
intern.
It's fine.
Intern down here.
I am sat here patient. I'm gonna drink my beer now.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to mention it, but I saw you sipping, and I was like, I wonder how long this can go before Ben's just like, I'm gonna drink my beer, and I'm still doing it. I'm literally
Usually
describing
just
doing
usually
it.
just goes in.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
know. This beer has got a strange nose. It's a bit fruity, like a little bit, and again similarly to the Verdant and the Beak, maybe more sort of stone fruit on the nose. But I'm getting a lot of like, or at least it feels like I'm getting a lot of alcohol vapor. Like I'm getting this kind of slight, not nail polish remover kind of
Oh, like that kind of like
note from it.
diacetyl
Yeah, yeah, and it makes it again. It's maybe just more the alcohol content of it. And that's only 8%, but it's sort of getting that a little bit in the nose. Oh, what's that going on? Who's playing stuff?
somebody's Twitch.
Who's doing stuff in the background?
My
But
bad.
Yeah, because in some styles you kind of expect that, and sometimes it's welcoming. Like maybe in like a mixed firm beer, like maybe me and a deal have, but not in that style.
and it does come over a little bit in the flavour as well. But I think that flavour, I think is, as you said, Lucy. It's not quite like I don't know what this dipper is going for. Like the version 17 dipper I had last year when they started the series again and they did a collab version of the dipper and stuff. That was like spot on quality.
Yeah,
like
really like that.
they just pulled straight off of that series again. This leans more into that modern kind of dipper. It's a little bit kind of vegetal. It's a little bit kind of earthy in its flavour. The alcohol does come through in the flavour as well. There's this kind of acetate kind of taste sort of in the back kind of thing, which is just a little bit kind of, I know it's a bit chewy, but it's not just chewy, it's a little bit kind of like cloying rather than just chewy.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little bit kind of like
I felt that it maybe we're having the same feelings, but sense it in different ways. I felt it had like not enough, a thinness with not enough body, but it felt like that there was enough there, as you say. It has that chewiness, but it just feels like nothing occupied that chewiness.
I completely agree.
Felt a bit thin.
And I think that's why I'm picking up more on the, I can feel those alcohol elements to it. It feels like I've had a supermarket shot of vodka or something, where there's that slight burn, there's that slight kind of alcoholic element to it, but there isn't really much of a flavour going on. But the flavour that is going on is slightly earthy, is slightly vegetal. It's a little bit kind of in that oniony sort of space, but it's just so low that the alcohol just has maybe just overriding it and suppressing it that little bit as well. Yeah.
Those are my feelings too. Where there just wasn't enough, and it didn't, encapsulate like what we felt about old Cloudwater, and that's okay. Breweries grow, and I think that's probably what it is: growth, and perhaps going into the supermarket, spreading your, well, not odds, but like resources a bit thinner, and not. I'm not saying it's a conscious effort, but it feels like the quality is not always there. It's less concentrated, just like that beer is. That felt like a perfect encapsulation of how I feel about Cloudwater now. Yeah, and even some breweries like Deya, like some of the beers, like I don't think Steady Rolling Man tastes like the same it did.
Right.
Well, maybe it's me becoming inured to it and more used to it, but I also feel it's like they're just bigger now. They're not that very small team without a canning line and only making a couple thousand units rather than hundreds of thousands of units or whatever they make. But it seems like the death of a giant, a supernova.
I mean, almost it would be interesting to see if they do another a dip of version 18 for something else, because that Dipper series did start off as kind of anniversary beers and special collaboration kind of beers and things like that. So working on those versions was always for, like, felt at least in the early versions, like for a reason kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that this is being an anniversary beer isn't double IPA like version 18 or version 19 or whatever we're up to kind of now. It is just double IPA. This is the birthday beer, double IPA.
Yeah.
So whether it's a different brew team, potentially they're trying something new, and you can't fault Cloudwater for their wants to try new things and pull different styles and make different beers and that kind of stuff. But yeah, for everyone, it's not always going to hit, I guess. And I suppose you and I, Lucy, feel very similarly about this beer. So for both of us, this isn't quite a hit. But I shall soldier on, and I shall probably drink it.
But that doesn't preclude them from like doing, as you say, decent beers in the future. And I'm sure I've had like beers that I have liked from Cloudwater over the last few years, but I just know that my sample size is probably a bit smaller because I don't always pick them. Because I'm just like, same with Deya. Crazy. But 5 years ago, I probably never thought I'd ever say that.
You'd pick every beer up that they bring out.
Yeah, I used to. I used to travel miles to get them beers. But now it's just like, oh, another Deya beer. I'll pick something else.
Yeah.
I'll pick a Baron or a Beak or a Verdant or
yes,
something like
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Interesting. Maybe next week we'll talk about beers and our tastes and the changing industry and different breweries coming in and things like that. But for the rest of this episode, let's talk about some games that we've actually played. I know there was a lot of games covered last week. I have nothing because I'm not allowed to talk about what I've been playing.
Adele, you better get whatever you got to say out the way before I steamroll this.
I was like, Lucy. I will say, last week when I was like, is this a sign that Lucy's back with games? And you're like, no. I'm like, I think it is. You talked about 3 things. I actually didn't have anything to play. I hadn't played anything, but I actually reconnected with an old friend from Bristol, just because I broke my laptop yesterday.
Oh yes.
I closed my MacBook, my work MacBook, and it turns out my sleep earphone, because I was working, because I've been actually under the weather the past few days, working in bed, and my sleep earbud was just at that hinge. And MacBooks close with such a nice car door kind of thunk because they have like that weighty thing, and it's so literally just thunked. And obviously the earbud is sufficiently robust that it means that it broke. It clunked and just hammered the screen right in the corner. So I was using my old tablet yesterday, and I was just setting it up with stuff. So I had Steam on, and saw a friend was playing FF15.
All right.
And I was like, oh, so I messaged her. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you played FF15. Also, it's been a minute. And then we caught up, and then she's like, we shifted to Discord because that's what young hip people do. And then she's just like, do you want to play Among Us? And I was like, I've never actually played Among Us.
No, you're right.
Not Among Us. Sorry, no, Fall Guys. My brain is already gone. I haven't played Among Us. Yeah, I'm a real gamer. Episode 400, it comes out. Fall Guys. I still haven't played either Among Us nor Fall Guys until yesterday, and so I was on a tablet, a Microsoft Surface, so I installed Epic, installed Fall Guys, and then played it, and it was miserable on a Surface type cover. Let me fucking tell you. I was like, this game seems like it might be fun.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, amazing on a time. No.
So like fun. Again, I'm also because my housemate was working in this room, so I was in bed with a Surface on a type cover on my lap, and I was looking at. Can you imagine looking around Fall Guys with a touchpad?
Oh, damn.
And every time you move with your WASD, it flexes the keyboard.
There's gotta be a better way.
I was like, we played duo a couple times. I'm like, we're not getting anywhere. Just We got
As you just
a
fall
bit
off
far once,
everything.
and it was like, I can't do this.
Such old man energy. Just like,
I forgot the game. Using a tablet with a keyboard. Yeah.
oh,
Anyway, yeah. Fall Guys. So that's it. Fall Guys seems like it might be fun. I'll never know. I'm never playing that game again.
is that your anecdote for this week?
Yeah, that was my gaming
Wow.
next. I said one. I got one story.
And I'm glad you told it, because
Yeah,
wow.
especially with the spectacular fail. Oh my god.
We're gonna have to portion out an old man corner for the podcast.
Ben, when was the last time you played Fall Guys?
Oh, a long time ago.
Oh,
Long time ago.
it does seem fun. I've played it for Game Pass points. It does seem. I could see that being a game where I could, like, get addicted to
yourself.
it. You know.
In the moment.
It seems like a really fun multiplayer game.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
it's so
fun.
easy and easy
Yeah.
to get
Well,
into.
the fact
I
that
really
it's
enjoyed it.
free on Epic, I didn't even
Oh.
realize that. I remember when you were playing, Ben, it was like one of those inexpensive games. It was Internet Darling.
Well, I think it was. I played it because it was a free PlayStation Plus
PlayStation Plus,
game.
that's right.
Oh, is it a
Yeah.
paid game? It was free to play.
I thought it. I
It
think
is
it
now.
was. Yeah, it was a paid game after that like month on PlayStation Plus.
Oh, didn't Epic like buy them or something
did,
Yeah,
like that?
something like that. And that's why it's now free. But it used to
Right,
be.
yeah.
Epic just
yeah.
buying up all of those fun free, game studios. Fall Guys, Rocket League. They bought out as well.
Harmonix
Yeah.
they bought, didn't they, as well?
Did they?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
sure.
that some like really cool stuff would come out, like Harmonix and Epic, because they have like Fortnite concerts.
I was going to
don't
say you can
they?
play guitar in Fortnite or something now.
Oh, well, I'd hope it's cooler than that. But I don't know. I don't know what they've done. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I don't know if that was another layoff thing, because Epic had their layoffs. Was it last year as well? Yeah, I hope Harmonix or whatever that core of that team was
Yeah.
still made it. But yeah, because you'd think like that's got to be a cool integration. But anyway, I digress.
November
That's all about-
2021 is when they got absorbed.
Right.
So I don't think they've done anything since.
Can I talk about Balatro now?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Please do. This
Pretty
is I
Pretty
saw
good.
your Substack post,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, I'm not gonna read this. Lucy can tell me about this tonight.
Yeah.
That was good. I was like, that was the way to process my addiction. That's like
Ooh.
part of my 12-step program. You lot need to buy this like immediately.
It's just poker in it, but jokers are a big thing.
Yeah.
Roguelike, isn't it? Or
Even
something?
even better.
It's a deck
yeah,
builder.
it's a roguelike deck builder.
Ooh.
One of those.
The keywords.
yes, it is.
Blah, 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 blah.
I mean,
Those are
deck-
probably the tags on Steam. But
roguelike
yeah.
deck builder is one tag. Card game
that's
is another
one
tag,
tag.
and deck building is their third tag.
I mean,
What?
it makes
Why
sense.
are these? Why is roguelike deck building its own tag if deck building exists?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Deck
Yeah, I thought there'd be two separate tags.
deck
Okay.
building is a tag,
Mhm.
but roguelike deck builder is the other tag.
Oh,
I mean,
These are all user-defined
Nuance.
things, so people are just
Sure.
idiots.
Yeah.
Things. all the
no, for once I agree with the Steam user base because that's what it is. In essentially,
same. Surely you could just have roguelike deck builder card game.
poker.
Those are the yeah. So, see, the thing is, two of the tags are taken up by deck building, and one is just the narrowing, which could just be a separate.
Well, you gotta appeal to these nerds, man. You know.
What the
You
fuck
say
is this
that
game?
as if you literally just said you were addicted to it. You're
Yeah.
one of these nerds.
I'm not above
Tell us
this,
about your
man.
fucking game, nerd.
Tell us what this game is.
It's a roguelike deck builder. I thought
called
that was
Balatro?
clear. It's called Balatro, which I think is like a Latin word for like Joker or something like that. So yes, Ben, it's poker. So do either of you know poker or play poker or? Yep,
Yes.
and yeah. Well,
Hey,
good. I'm
okay.
with like-minded people because I like poker. So it takes the hands of poker, like 2 pair Prove a kind flush, you know, that same
Parallel.
gradation of scoring, basically. It's run based. Each run has 8 bigger rounds called antes, and those are split into like 3 smaller rounds called blinds. And the blinds is like a small blind, which has a smaller score that you have to hit, a big blind, which is a bigger blind to hit, and a boss blind, which has like some variation on the gameplay. Like, oh, you have to hit this score, but like one of your cards are debuffed, or the cards that you've already played in this run don't count, or you only have so many cards, or we're going to decrease the number of cards, whatever. This whole game is about like modifications and multiplications, and it's that kind of big brain numbers go up game, and it's just delectable. It's delightful. Oh my god! Like watch 2 minutes of gameplay since you lot very au fait with like the game of poker, as am I. It was like it was just on a whim because I've seen like I think it was like RPS Rock Paper Shotgun like write about Balatro like last year because of like the Next Fest and stuff like that,
Right.
and it's like, oh, I like poker. This sounds cool, and they were like waxing lyrical about it then, just from like the demo. And it was like, oh yeah, I'll try that out. I'll check that out. There's probably a demo on my computer, my desktop somewhere that I never got round to. And then like on a whim, because I think just saw the name pop up again. I was like, oh, and I checked it out on Steam. I was like, oh, it's on sale for like the next 2 hours, 10% off for the launch price or whatever. I'll check it out. Just some gameplay because I don't need to get, the demos on my Steam Deck or if it's still available. Watched it. 2 seconds, I was like, oh, okay, this game is all right. This game is hitting the buttons. This game seems okay, and it's more than okay.
Nice.
In fact, don't buy it. You've got children. You've got a job. Yeah, you've got papers to mark. You've got children. You've got small children, and a job. So yeah, don't buy it.
That's tomorrow going.
What?
I just bought it.
Oh no! I've ruined your life. I'm so sorry.
It was like 12 quid or something like that.
I bought it 2 weeks ago, and I was just like, I don't have time.
Right.
Then if Lucy likes it this much, and it's a card game, and she likes it,
yeah. I've given my mum my Steam Deck tonight, so I could come and record this podcast.
Like take this off me, otherwise I will.
Yeah, I was playing it through the hours of like 9 till 5, like a full-time job.
Nice.
So it's just like,
is it
beautiful?
Just kind of what the videos show you, what some of those kind of like live streams show you, like this kind of score level kind of set of poker stuff. Is there anything kind of additional to this? Is there any
the
kind
thing
of like...
is that I could explain more nuances and depths to it, but that would completely ruin some of the revelations for you lot.
Okay.
Think of it as like Inscription, like how
I was
layered, how layered some of that gameplay is, and it's just like, I think if I recall correctly, because I think Inscription's like 2-3 years ago now, which is insane. But like when you discovered that you could have like infinite squirrels in Inscription and just like keep making those cards. This game has that, and it isn't just like, I mean, Inscription, there were many instances of like, oh, I can break the game.
Yeah.
and it's insane, and it's it feels like that you've got one over on the developers when you haven't, because it's like these games are very intentionally and incredibly designed, where it's like they know that you're going to do that and they encourage that, but you have that revelation several times in this game as well, and to kind of reveal that would be taking away that experience from you. But to kind of pull it back, it is very much a game where you are having those modifiers, are having those cards and unlocking those cards in runs and over time, in several runs where they modify the gameplay in such distinct ways, and then finding the combinations that make all those effects like sing and harmonize and then break the game in such incredibly different ways is so rewarding and so like fulfilling. Like there's a thing that I discovered today, and this isn't like a different effect working with a different effect or whatever, and just like pursuing that run to break the game. It's just something that's a very nuanced gameplay thing, where it's like, oh, this boss doesn't mean anything anymore because I can use this
Right.
for this boss,
Right.
and it's not like even, and it's not just unique to that boss, and it's not just something that is intentionally to be used. It's just like, oh, just like sorry, what was that?
Just like you're connecting the dots because there's enough like Rube Goldberg rock paper scissors going on.
Yeah,
or...
like kind of like, oh, I've noticed this very nuanced thing in like the UI or how this, yeah, literally like that simple, and it's just like, oh, doing this, well, this means I can defeat this boss now even easier than I could before without having to build a deck around this boss to combat it. It's something as simple as like, oh, there's something, in terms of like the UI and the effects, where it's like I can use that to my advantage, and therefore I should get a card or a pack of cards that uses that to my advantage. And it's like I'm being very, coy and like.
No, I think sounds like it's
abstract.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's like, and I will tell you this when you lot are there, because it's just, but it was like such a revelation to me. I was like, holy Christ. It's just like, and it's like, it has tons of those little moments in like every run. I'm still unlocking like new Joker cards, because the Joker cards are like the main modifiers, those that change like the gameplay the most. They change the cards, they change like, you have this shop that you interact with between every round to upgrade your cards, upgrade, the buffs, the debuffs, etc. And it's like Jokers, they're like if you imagine like a pyramid, they're like at the top of the pyramid and they affect everything coming down. Whereas like you got these other cards like Arcana packs, Celestial packs, and they interact with gameplay in other ways, but it's just like the Jokers are the main thing. And I think there's hundreds of them, and I'm still unlocking them and discovering them. But yeah, I mean, if I could recommend it to anyone on this planet, it would be you, Adil.
Like I said, I had come across my path a couple of times, and I was like, yeah. I mean, basically, when I had people in one of my Facebook gaming groups were just gushing over it. It was like right when all that marketing happened, and I could barely like buy a beer and show up here. And so I just was like, nope. But that time is over, and I was like, literally, just yesterday I was on like the tablet, and I was like, oh well, maybe I'll play something dumb, and I thought, well, like I can only play Civ 2 like with Keith. I actually don't want to play more rounds of, like, I actually don't want to start another game in Civ 2 to learn, because I like the idea that this game is where I'm remembering how that game works. But I was like, oh, maybe I'll install Civ 4. That can run on this tablet, and that's what got me on the Fall Guys night. But in the middle of that, I was like, oh, right, that game I heard about, that weird poker game. And I was like, I have enough games. And then I woke up to your Substack article. I'm like, I don't want to read this.
Yeah.
So it's been.
I think you having like you have to go to work, having that set determined time when you like, I have to be a productive member of society is a good way of curbing the addiction, because you will become addicted.
So that's problematic, given that I have a Steam Deck. I can take it to work, but also I only teach.
It's so good on Steam Deck. Oh, well then.
I just have like work to do with the days. Like I have full hours of work, but they just aren't like
Then
structured.
just
And I have
buy. Well, you've
ADHD.
already bought
bought
it,
it. He's
but
bought it.
Yeah,
It's done.
yeah,
It's done.
you've already. Ben, you buy it now
there's
too. For God's
literally
sake.
nothing I can do.
Yeah. You're in. You're ready. I'll meet you at the bottom of the barrel. So, I'll meet you there too. Ben, I don't even care about saving you. I think you should
62
come.
megs?
That's fair.
That was part of my Substack. I was like, how is this game over 62 megs? It only has one soundtrack, but it doesn't matter because it's like you're in a slot machine in Vegas. It doesn't matter that it's the
It goes and
soundtrack.
goes
It's
and
like,
goes and
I
goes.
said
doesn't matter.
62 megs, hit install, and then I got the pop-up.
Yeah. That was part of my decision as well. I was like, hold on, only 62 megs as well. This is perfect. So yeah, that's the thing. And the really cool thing about it, which I really like as well, is that every run generates its own unique seed. So it's like I could send you the code to my game and be like, Adil, can you beat this run?
Oh wow, nice.
So
That's
cool.
Yeah, I thought that was so neat.
That's so cool. Oh, that's
yeah.
problematically cool.
Um,
I'm gonna now.
We've
Now I
lost
want to
him,
like
Ben.
be spamming you with weird codes.
I'm gonna feel so bad. I feel like the one who's just like, yeah, just try this.
You pulled him down.
I tied the rubber band around his arm.
Yep.
I didn't push the needle in, but I said, try this.
So there may be more talk. There may be more talk then on Balatro.
This is like Game of the Year material.
Like yeah. So we're gonna be returning to this at some point.
Ben, forget your children. Buy it. Just
I've got
you
fucking.
have to.
I got Final Fantasy VII
I will
Rebirth
pressure
in the
you.
fucking
By now
machine
it's old,
downstairs,
right?
mate. I'm already sunk into something.
No, you can play this.
I mean, I've been worried about your latest game purchase because I really want to play it, but I haven't even finished the previous one. But I'm still jealous.
Ben, it's you only have so much time,
It's true.
in a day. Like
Yeah,
when you take a break at work and you want to play on your computer, I know you do because you don't have a Steam Deck.
How long is a run?
Oh, depends how long you can go.
Yeah, but like
I know what you mean. It's 8 antes, each split into 3 different rounds, and it depends how long you want, because you can strategize intensely if you want to, because like the way the Jokers play, you can alter the order in which the Jokers affect gameplay. So that's also something that you might be micromanaging within each round. But the thing with this game is that like I'm too quick with it. I'm just like, because it's got that kind of like addictive slot machine sound design and the UI is like perfect for Steam Deck. There are things where it's just like, oh crap, I pressed X instead of Y, and I discarded a deck instead of like playing it, and that's like the worst thing you can ever do. But it's so snappy controller wise and UI wise, where it's like I'm too quick with it, and it's like I need to slow down sometimes. But I think probably the longest run is probably. I think you could probably do a run in like a good run in like 20 minutes. I think it's that snappy.
So that's
like
that's
a full
what I want to
run.
know. Because like, if the maximum length is 20 minutes, I can see how this is dangerous because you can easily one more it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when it's like, oh, you died because you didn't get the high score, it's like I don't even think about it. And I'm already starting a new run. I know like the Vampire Survivors dev was like, he worked for like, he used to design like games that were, like gambling machines and stuff like that. And he was like, I know how to make that kind of like gameplay like loops where you just like one more run instantly. This feels like that on crack.
Nice.
It's just like I don't even think about it.
Does this mean this is like dangerous?
It is. It doesn't have any like, once you buy it, you're in. There's no like actual what do they call it? In-game currency or whatever it is. Like, well, there's in-game currency rather, but there's no
only in-game
paid
currency.
add-ons. Yeah. There's no paid add-ons, but it is dangerous in the sense that it's like, oh no, I said that I'd stop when I'd lose this run, and now I'm another 6 runs deep. But I stopped after the weekend after like 26 hours of just pure gameplay over 2 days, and then it just so you can.
Nice. Wow.
Oh, it's just so good. It's so good. It's excellent.
And I just read that like once you finish a run, it presents you in endless mode, so you could keep that run going.
But there is absolutely a skill check in that where it's like, I had probably the best run that I had today, in terms of like just overall like score points. Gosh, what was it? I because this is a great thing about this game. You don't know what your run or strategy is going to be until probably about the 3rd or 4th ante. You're probably halfway through the game before you're like actually defining what your strategy to finish the game is. You have a strategy just to get a certain way into the game, like a certain up to like halfway, and then after that you're like, oh, I should probably go in this direction.
Right.
Because of what the hands that I've been dealt.
Right.
And you're tailoring it to, RNGs at that point. But usually you're just trying to like get through at the first point, and then it's just like, oh, I should do this because this is what I've been dealt with, and it's like, but it also doesn't lock you into that necessarily. It's like, oh, I could do this, but maybe I'll try this, maybe I'll try that. But I basically had I basically got a card where it was like a whole suite of cards were just turned into 6s, and it's like, okay, I've got 6s now. A lot of 6s in my deck because it starts out with like a classic 52 card deck, all the different, the 4 different, gosh, what are they called? Suits, 4 different suits. Typical 52 card deck, and then I had like tons of 6s. And it was like, oh, I have so many 6s. I could probably do like 4 of a kind. Because there's enough probability that enough 6s, because it deals you with like 8 cards, that they'll, even if I like discard some cards and get rid of them and do that several times, probability wise, I'm probably going to end up with 4 6s in my hand at a certain time. And then I had the Joker card that added a multiplier to my score if I did 4 of a kind. And then I started leveling up the 4 of a kind hand, because it's like, okay, you can level up each hand. It's like level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, etc. Probably infinitely as many as you want to go. It's like, oh, I'll just level up 4 of a kind every time. Forget like high card or 2 pet. Forget those. I'll just level up 4 of a kind.
Because when you get them, it'll be like huge.
Yeah. And that was my best run, and I was earning like, 5 times the minimum requirement score just from doing 4 of a kind on 6s, because each card is graded like ace 11 points, face cards 10, 9, etc., etc. So 6 is a pretty low, scored card, but it didn't matter because I was getting 4 of a kind, and I was leveling up everything.
And with all your multipliers,
multiplied.
Yeah.
And that is the best run so far.
Nice.
But you can do insane things with all those multipliers and modifications and yeah. And just quickly, my next kind of like run that I want to do, and it's not always going to be the case, and it's like sometimes you stumble on a run just because like your brain clicks in depending on what you're given. It's like, oh, actually I'm gonna do that. But only today I was like, because you see all these cards in like all your runs, and it's like you're thinking, why would I ever use that? And then when you start seeing them more and start getting more combinations, that's when the cogs start ticking. But what I want to do now is get it where all the face cards give me, every time I play a face card, it gives me like $2 to spend in the shop. And then I remembered, oh, there's a Joker that treats everything as a face card.
So she just want to do like a money grubbing bit.
Yeah.
That's
and
great.
the money grubbing bit, and then I can have infinite wealth and buy everything. I can buy all the different levels of the card. I can buy all the Jokers. I can buy all the Arcana cards. And it's like, yeah. So,
yeah, you're definitely in the thick
nice.
of it.
I'm addicted.
Absolutely. It's a good place.
That's Balatro.
Yeah, a good place to finish on Balatro for this week. And it's a good place for us to round out what we've been playing, I think, and move into the final part of episode 400, which again continues on our, I suppose, episode structure as we have been doing it for the last few episodes of a quiz. Hooray!
Yay!
I'm not ready, as always.
I mean, nor am I. I will say I'm coming up to nearly 19 hours of being awake, so...
Do you not want to crack another beer?
Here, let me help with that.
I can feel myself.
Do you not want to crack another beer?
God, no. Feel free, Lucy, if you'd like to.
Is
Absolutely.
I've been avoiding it, but I keep drinking it quickly.
Okay.
And oof.
Well, maybe I'll crack a beer and you lot can talk amongst yourselves whilst I nip to the toilet.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
And get the games ready. Get your
you
thinking
can-
caps on. Put my drinking cap on.
Whoa. How?
Probably-
How? I mean, yeah.
I'll be
Go.
back in a second.
Go. Yeah, I mean, I whilst Lucy's gone, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
Yeah.
No!
I played it a little bit. I played a very, very small amount. It turned up Thursday as I was leaving the house. It's like, oh, good. It's gonna sit there all day, unopened and unloved. But I've got an hour or two in, maybe.
Oh, okay. Sweet. What's the? Sorry, continue talking.
The thing that it allowed me to do, which I liked from what the demo said, was I could skip that section of the game. I couldn't skip the whole thing, so I had to do a little bit first.
Oh.
So I replayed a little bit of the start of what the demo provides to you, and then I replayed like the last 5 minutes of what the demo gives you as well.
I mean, that's probably just like by design, so you get a bit of overlap if it's 5 minutes, or like a short amount of time.
Yeah. It was
It is
very,
weird
very
though to like handhold the like. I trust you to remember almost all of this.
Yeah. And you get a lot of story in that part. You know, that Nibelheim flashback is quite an important part of why everyone is on the journey that they're going on. You know, Sephiroth's motivation moving through the fucking story. So the bit that they kind of make you relive is a slight change. So and the thing that Rebirth is doing more so than what Final Fantasy did, because again, when Final Fantasy 7 was released, like Zack wasn't a character. He was
he was mentioned
and so Zack's brought in much more within Rebirth. So the whole idea that Cloud was actually one of the guards during the Nibelheim mission, and you're Zack playing through it, alongside Sephiroth, and that you play that through Crisis Core, as Crisis Core is Zack's sort of story, but it merges that just a little bit more in
I like that.
Rebirth. Yeah. So you see Cloud as the guardsman on the ground when Nibelheim is like on fire and stuff like that.
I mean, that's great because at the time that wasn't fleshed out on OG FF7, but obviously we have all the stuff now, so it makes sense to write that better.
Absolutely, and I think that's the thing that Rebirth and the remake, and probably then Part 3 as well, is doing. It is just expanding everything. It's expanding everything so much.
Do you think? So, from what I understand, this game is 43 hours just for the main story.
Yeah.
But from what I've heard, it's to the end of Disc 1.
Yes, I think.
How are 2 games going to get to the end of Disc 1, and then there's 2 more discs I don't think this is a trilogy. I think this is a decade-long, more so like how to look. You're a sap. You're an FF7 sap nerd, and we're gonna get you for 7 games.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Well,
Absolutely
like,
fine.
we have nothing left.
Because otherwise, this is like a reverse Harry Potter, right? Where the last book is 2 movies, and now it's like the last 2 discs or 1 game,
Yeah.
but the first disc was 2.
Well, so the third disc of the original game is right at the end of the story, right?
You're right. It is quite short.
The third disc is like
I just think it's
going to the crater and fighting, running through that area and fighting Sephiroth, and just the open world, basically.
Yeah, but the open world's already. I mean,
yeah.
So why I'm jealous is because obviously I never finished the first. What was the FF7 remake called again?
Just remake.
Is it called remake?
Yeah.
I thought it was.
No, it's just called FF7 remake.
But Rebirth. So remake takes place while everything's still linear and there's no open world.
Yep, just in Midgard.
And Rebirth is where the open world is there, and I'm just. That's the part of the game I really wanted to.
Yeah, the thing that's hit me even in the first hour. So after you do the section in calm and you get into the open world, the thing that's hit me the most is the scale. The scale of it is just massive, absolutely massive.
So, I'm assuming so 2 questions. How quickly are you gonna go to the Golden Saucer? And also, are you gonna try and breed a golden chocobo?
Oh, absolutely. Fuck right. Like I was playing it earlier, and Evelyn's like, "What are those birds?" I'm like, "Oh, they're chocobos." And like because Kim was like, "This is a very cheerful tune." I'm like, "Well, it's like the chocobo theme." And Kim's like, "What?" Kim's like, "What? What are you talking about, you fucking idiot?" Like, and I'm like, "Here's a chocobo," and Evelyn's like, "That's cool. I like the big birds." I'm like, yeah, absolutely brilliant. And then I'm like, so in the original game that came out in like 1997, you can breed them, and you can find items with them, and you can breed them so you can get a golden one, and the golden ones can run over the sea, and they're both just like, the fuck are you talking about?
And if you go to the very corner of the map, there's an island which isn't on the map, and that's where you can get the world's longest cutscene summon.
400 is my last episode.
That linked with the ×4 summon. Basically, just does Sephiroth over instantly in the final battle.
Yeah, so nice around with 4 times is amazing, but also you basically just attack and then leave for an hour, and you can come back in the game still doing the one move. Oh my god, I love FF7 so much. It honestly, when I saw the hype coming around. So this is where dopamine hype comes in. When I saw the hype coming around Rebirth, I was like, what if I just bought a PS5? I was like, for 1 game. Obviously, there are other games, but I haven't touched my PS4 in ages.
Yeah.
I don't even game in my living room.
The rate that you play games, Adil, and this is no shade. This is just
sorry.
The rate that you play games, and this is no shade. It's just how we all are. FF7 would be your only game.
Yeah, 1000%. Yeah.
You would not play it.
The thing is, even if I bought a PS5 and FF7 Rebirth, I'd have to finish Remake, and I probably would just have to restart at this point. It's been a minute.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like a 40-hour game in and of itself. And at the rate I play games, that means that I don't need to worry about buying Rebirth until 2026.
Yeah.
But did you finish the first game?
Yeah,
I did. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you left it. I must be conflating both of you.
No,
I thought you also left it the last couple.
No,
hours.
I had a real problem at the end of that game where, I can't remember the exact specifics. I've probably whinged about it. It's on some episode.
Yeah, because I remember you whinging.
Yes,
like the best game of all time, apparently.
Ultimately, I started the final boss battle, and because it's staged, I got halfway through, and then, Kim or Evelyn or someone had turned the PlayStation off, so that was bam, start that again, kind of thing. So it's just right, okay. Right. Half an hour of my life fucking just gone. Because you've got to start it all over again. You can't fucking do it halfway through. Lucy, what beer are you opening?
I just opened a triple IPA from Track. It's called Oscillate.
Ooh, nice.
It's like cordyceps virus. Oh bloody hell! It's Citra YCH702 hop, Galaxy Ricau Sub-Zero hop Keef, Riwaka, and Nelson Sauvin. There's a lot of
That's
hops.
packed.
A lot of yeah. It sounds like very Australian,
Yeah.
New Zealandish hops. A brew celebrating the continued journey beer takes people on as a range of brewings in parentheses
Brewings.
Brisbane, Australia. Yeah, brewings. Apostrophe S. Brisbane, Australia. Oh, someone from Australia called Larissa finished their internship with them at Track.
Oh.
Okay,
Oh.
so I think it's in dedication to her,
Oh, nice.
which is nice. I presume Larissa's from Brisbane, Australia. But yeah, that's why a lot of the southern hemispheric hops are in this. But
Amazing.
yeah, it looks great.
Good.
Looks
Good.
great.
Do you
Very
want to
cloudy,
give us the lowdown before we start the quiz?
Yeah. Oh, proper tropical. Proper like definitely smelling like the Melton Sauvin. Like
What was the percentage on that one?
That's 10%.
10.
It smells like even like probably what I'd attribute to like Motueka hops, like that very like guava like kind of smell to it, very tropical fruity.
Nice.
Oh, that smells delightful. Oh, just decadence. Pretty similar to your beer, Ben, where it's like straight off the bat, it just hits you with all that flavor.
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to drink that. I don't want to do this quiz anymore.
We'll do the quiz
Let me
quick.
do this quiz.
Do the quiz quick, and you
Not
can
even
go back
quickly,
to
it's
the
just
beer.
like,
Just luxuriate for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink that off pod because it's so nice. But yeah, just like massively fruity and tropical off the bat.
Nice.
Probably pick up on more of the nuances later on. But yeah, I have 5 games. Could you please sound your horns now?
Oh, yeah, bring my horns up. Let me bring my horns.
Yeah, just do that again.
So
Two
Ben
horns.
is the Thatch trumpet. Adele is the air horn. Okay.
How do we get more Discord sounds?
So I think if you have Nitro or something, because
yeah,
because I think these are the built-in. So I think there's probably server. I'll look into it. But also, we still haven't actually made it so that the podcast will hear the horns. I don't think.
Well, that's true. Yes, the audio listeners. Sorry, audio listeners. Still, the last 10 episodes or so now, you can't hear the horns, but you'll get it from what we're saying.
But I'll announce who.
Yeah, I mean we're pretty
who
polite.
sounded first. Thank you for playing the crickets whilst I was just having another sip of the beer. Okay. And now.
That's fine. Okay. Wait, so how many rounds is this?
It's always 5 games. I've been paying attention to. Oh, Ben, you were not here last week.
That's
right.
Bill has a asterisk point because he correctly guessed a TV show, which was The Wonder Years.
Oh yes,
So,
I did. I was watching. Because I was on last week because I was doing work. So I had it on in the background, and yes, I did.
So if it comes to a tie break, he wins.
Oh, fine.
Just find that
because he was it. Yeah.
At the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
If we hopefully can get that.
Oh, is the season 2024? Is that what we're doing?
I hope so.
Do you have that many?
I hope so. There will be some, like the top of the surface. I think there's some good ones. Like I've got 5 good ones here,
yeah.
But there may become a point where we are scraping the bottom of the barrel,
yeah.
And I may just consult Google.
Well. Yeah. we get to the point where you have to go to like a flea market just to find some really fucking random games.
Because I think what the unwritten rule as Quizmaster is you aren't allowed like Googling back covers. You have to have the physical thing in front of
Oh
you.
god, I was opening it on Google after a certain point, but we'll
Yeah,
see
okay.
because I started writing them down because there may be duplicates and I want to remember them.
that's-
We may come back to duplicates. Those may be.
To be
depending on
honest,
the
I
skins,
don't remember
so.
a fucking thing that's happened before except Charlie's Angels. So
And Dark
Oh,
Angel.
yeah, there we
You
go. Dark
remember all
Angel.
the
Yeah.
angel
It's the
games.
Angels. As long as it's not a Hollywood-based
Yeah.
angel IP, I won't remember.
Wait, no,
it.
did we have? Oh no, it's the Da Vinci Code, wasn't it? We didn't have
Yeah.
Angels and
yeah.
Demons. I was going to say
That's
we
why I
can
didn't
think
get
of
Da
one.
Vinci Code and you did, because if it was based on Angels and Demons, I
Yep.
would have got it.
You'd have been there, absolutely.
But I do know the sequel to Da Vinci Code is called Angels and Demons because my brain is stupid. Continue. Okay.
Those are decent books back in the day. Okay.
I'm leaning
Trust no one. Prepare for anything.
X-Files, the movie, the game.
I was gonna say, although you lot sidetracked me and I forgot, I was gonna say just the license, just the
Oh, okay, well then X-Files, the game.
no, but I will give you that because that is straight off the bat. Well done. No, because
Is it?
who would have known the subtitle is called The X-Files? Resist or Serve.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I would.
What's that
I forgot to
face?
say that off the top.
What's that
Yeah.
third
Oh,
face?
Yeah, actually, can you show us that?
Show us
cover
the
just
script.
one
Show
more
us
time?
that
That's
again.
like a. Let me hold on. I can peel this.
Like a haunting woman.
This is definitely
Yeah,
I'm
there's like
40.
a-
The trust no one's built into my.
There's a-
Oh my
Nice.
God.
I like it.
Is
Yeah,
that
that's
face
good.
But
on
it's
the
still not as scary as Scully's face in PS2 form, which I
Oh God.
can come up here.
Oh, it looks like fucking Goldeneye, doesn't it?
It does. It's
It
actually not that bad.
absolutely does. But yes, well done.
Nice.
I'll finish reading. In
This is me wearing my 40-year-oldness on my sleeve. Because trust no
Trust
one
no
means
one.
one thing in my entire life. Like in my formative years, there was 7 years of everyone talking about this
I was-
fucking show.
Yeah, I was
Right.
thinking. I hope no one gets it from just that. But okay, well done. In this, I'll just read this.
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah. Please read the whole thing.
Trust no one, prepare for anything. In this original Lost episode, you will enter a treacherous world filled with authentic X-Files mythology, thrilling challenges, and genuine terror. Battle horrific paranormal phenomena and conduct autopsies whilst in search of the truth. Because there's, oh my god, there's actually autopsies that you have to do. Oh my god. There.
It's alien
What
autopsies.
game.
Otherwise, what's Scully gonna do? Because
I never played
otherwise,
this
she's
game.
just the like press X for doubt button,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but
That's her
this-
entire role.
I never.
Oh,
That is very true.
it's just a prequel to LA Noire, and it's just her shouting at
Yeah.
people, like
Mulder,
just
I didn't
watching
think
whether
so.
they're telling the truth or not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice, nice.
I
Put-
can't
doing
believe that game
autopsies
exists,
is
and it's
yeah.
based on a lost episode.
And it's not even the movie. Yeah.
Lost episode.
By lost episode, they mean script that
Didn't
didn't go to
exist.
production,
Yeah.
right?
Not
Like,
even that. just
was so
didn't
bad,
exist.
didn't make it into this fucking
We just-
24 episodes of season 7 series show.
More like this is the IP. Imagine stuff that didn't happen on the show. Wow.
I mean, at least it's Mulder and it's not Doggett, so that you know he came a little early.
yeah. I mean, we love Doggett, but
Doggett's great.
as an actor, yeah. Great. Okay, next game. In big print, join the revolution. Lured to Mars by the Alter Corporation's promise of a better life, thousands have come to seek their fortune and work for the massive mining company.
Oh shit. Oh, I hate that I can't remember.
Alter Corporations.
Is it Red Faction Gorilla?
Oh bollocks! It is Red Faction, but not Gorilla.
It is a Red Faction game. It's not Gorilla. Fuck.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
They give it to a deal though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but as a Red
Two?
Faction game.
It is Red Faction.
It's just
It's just
Red
Red Faction
Faction.
1. Ah, okay.
I think that's pretty good. I think if you get it straight off the bat and there's not multiple rounds of like guessing back and forth, if you guess it that
Red Faction 1,
quickly,
2,
I-
3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
12. Yeah,
I think he deserves that.
yeah, absolutely.
I am the judge.
I
here.
agree.
Judge,
Yeah.
jury, and executioner.
There's
I
no
can do
arguing
whatever I want.
here, even if that wasn't in my favor. I have no idea why I said Gorilla. Gorilla would have been way out of the PS2 era, to be fair.
Why do you know these are all PS?
Oh yeah, because you have you have all kinds. Gorilla was definitely a disc-based game at some point.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Really, what it is because I love I still love open world games for what they promise, even though they don't deliver. And Gorilla delivered on environment destruction.
Yes.
So we played the shit out of that game. So I don't think of Red Faction as a series, right? I think of Red Faction as Gorilla.
That is fair. Come on, Ben.
He's been up for
I know.
19 hours.
I know.
And
I know his brain is dead.
All the caramel brownies got me like.
I believe in you. I think Ben will get this one.
Okay.
Mate.
Yeah,
Too
no
much pressure now.
Your mind is the ultimate weapon. As an elite American blank operative soldier, combat a terrorist movement using your extensive blank powers, along with traditional military weapon combat.
Oh, it's not that one. It's the other one. Yeah.
And
Psyops.
Yeah. I love the 2 quid sticker on it.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I was never getting that one. My brain went to prototype, and then I was like, what was the prototype that was for the other console? Because one console
Infamous.
had prototype. Sorry?
Infamous.
Yeah, and but I was like, oh, neither of these is correct.
I'm glad I didn't have to get any further than that, because one of the bullet points is use psi powers, including telekinesis, pyrokinesis, mind drain, mind control, remote viewing, and aura view. So I would have had to blank all of those.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you got that.
Yeah, I don't think I would have gotten Psyops.
I think Psyops is one of those games that I rented for like a weekend
Mhm.
and never played
Told
again.
you you'd get it.
Ah,
Told
you should have just waited. You could have bought it the whole thing for 2 quid. I bet you rented it.
Yeah, I
for
bet
that
it was
too.
more than that. Absolutely, it's like £3. Yeah.
Okay. This one I absolutely expect the full title.
Oh.
Shit. Quantum Break. Colon
Yeah,
TV
that's
show
it.
edition.
TV show. Okay. Right, I'll start from here. In my quest for redemption, not even my death can stop me.
First person.
Did you
Is
just say first person?
You said in
Yeah.
my quest
Right.
for redemption.
Yeah.
Yes. Not even death. Not even my death can stop me. Drawn to the dark powers of a magic dagger, the blank is led to unleash a deadly evil upon the blank's vast kingdom.
Prince of Persia:
Ben.
Sands of Time.
Oh, nicely done, Ben.
You lot are so good at this. I'm not even joking. Like, I see the games and it's just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But it would take me thousands of guesses for these. So
Yeah.
I have to give you two your props because it's genuinely impressive.
I like how
Genuinely.
mine are fucking shitty licensed games that I didn't know existed, and Ben's are like quality, like actual games that people bought and played.
You both have your niche.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah,
thing
Red
is,
Faction.
If it's
what I
swaying in
about this
one way or
game
the other, I know what-
the intersection is we get the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Swaying
like
in one way or
yeah.
another, I know where to go.
I
Ten-
would have gone
10
Psyops, so I
points.
might have figured out.
I'm gonna knock out the Dawson's Creek video game.
Is there really one?
Oh, fuck knows that.
There may be.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No
Tiebreaker.
Sex Campus is what it's called.
Tiebreaker. Be the original.
Shit.
Full stop.
Oh.
Be blank. That is the headline of this game.
Be the original. Sorry, no. Be the original. Be blank.
Yes. That is the headline.
Be
of
the
this,
original. I don't even know what that means.
Be the original. Full stop. Yeah, I was wondering if there was a full stop there. There is. Be the original.
I just feel like there's a clue that I can't figure out. So yeah.
There isn't. It's just really bad. They thought you were they thought you were dead. But blank don't die so easy. I can't. Because listen,
No.
this box art is meant to be read in a very specific and racist way. But I'm not gonna do
Oh.
Ben.
Is it 50 Cent blood on his hand?
I wish.
Oh,
I wish.
that would be very good. Right,
They
sorry.
thought- yeah,
it's fine.
I'll start again. They thought you were dead, comma, but blank don't die so easy. Blank took everything you had, full stop. Now you've got nothing, comma, but that never stopped you before. You're back with a vengeance, ready to reclaim your turf and rebuild your empire. All you've got are your balls and your words.
It's like some kind of Wu-Tang game or something, isn't it?
Oh,
Like-
is it?
Like,
Is it?
Live the turbulent life of the infamous
Is it
blank
Def Jam?
drug lord who
Oh.
redefined the American dream. In an
Oh.
original explosive script by famed
oh,
screenwriter
original.
blank. Oh, blank man.
Oh.
Just Scarface.
Yeah, I as soon as you rang in, I'm like, oh,
Right.
is it Scarface?
I
This
played.
is a Scarface game?
I finished that game.
It is.
Did you
I
really?
played and finished that game.
It is.
Then, given that it's technically in my category of
Yes,
dumbass
when you were
bullshit,
talking about license,
Well, it's
tag,
yeah.
I was
but
like,
you played and finished it. I'm glad. It took me like basically it's like, what possible bullshit is this? And then my brain went, oh, Scarface is there could have been a game,
it's
and I was a half second behind you.
like it's kind of it again came out the same era as
Mario
when
Puzo?
when they redid the Godfather game. So they redid
Yeah.
they made the Godfather the game, which wasn't
Yeah.
actually the you played as like a low level kind of thug and moved up through the family, and then the Godfather
I
2 the
played it,
game was
yeah,
like
yeah.
a set in the 60s, I think, something
Yeah.
a little bit kind of removed sort of thing. But this came out and it looks very similar to that. It's that kind of
I always confuse it with the Godfather
Yeah.
because I also played this. I have a
Oh, I definitely didn't.
This is within the plastic, so just in case I ever feel like selling this very illustrious video game, it's in the plastic. But I've got the copy somewhere in my room. Yeah,
You definitely earned
but
that.
it's not great.
What was-
like the Godfather game? It's not great.
what was
but
the
yes,
the kind of the tagline at the top? Be the original, be the what?
yeah, be the original, be Tony
Oh, yeah.
Montana.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
The original is such a fucking non-thing.
I know.
There wasn't like copycat Tony Montana's.
Yeah.
Well,
They thought you were dead, but Tony Montana didn't. Don't die so easy.
did
Sosa took everything you had.
like
Now
'cause
you got nothing.
Vice City, GTA Vice City
What
ends
was
the
this,
same way as
2003?
Scarface,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
But,
so
like-
did Vice City come out
Oh.
before
doesn't
Scarface?
end.
So are they kind
Vice,
of?
I always thought it ended that way. Vice City doesn't end that way. It's like halfway through the game.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I I always remember
It's
that
just-
in my head. That
Yeah.
it's like,
no one
yeah,
finishes
Scarface ended.
GTA 3 or Vice City is the problem.
I did. I
No,
finished them all.
I have finished
I-
both those games.
Yeah,
But also, I've played
I
them
shouldn't have.
from the beginning multiple times, and I rarely finish it.
I always stopped with the construction part with the helicopter in Vice City.
Oh, yeah.
That mini game is such bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
I just got angry. Well done, Ben. You
Yeah,
definitely booked
That was a
time
good.
because you got
You
a
came back
licensed
from the
game.
back. Yeah.
Um, my brain
you-
was I
you
couldn't
came
get, I
back.
couldn't get to Scarface. I was like, oh, I saw the mountain of cocaine. I saw Pacino, and I was like, oh, what is it called? And then I was like, right, and you had already buzzed in.
Adil, There are
get
many licensed games in that pile, so
Oh,
don't
yeah, yeah.
worry, my friend. Don't worry.
Yeah, The
was
only
the
reason
era.
we're neck and neck is because X-Files Fight. So Fight the Future is the name of the movie,
Mm.
which is not the name of the game because the
No,
game is on an episode.
Resurrecting something. Lost episodes.
Your
Trust me.
Dissension and Disarmament or whatever it was called.
I don't think
Might as
it
well.
matters.
Dissension and disarmament.
I'll write these games
Uh,
down. And
Nice.
we are
Good.
now
I'm really glad I got
3-1
I2
to them.
quickly and then got trounced.
You did
Sorry?
start off. You started off really well.
Yeah, 3-1 to Ben. As I say, you like Wallace and Gromit? There's a few of those licensed games.
Someone
those to memory.
blank had the wrong trousers.
Yeah.
Like, all right, good. Yeah,
Literally.
yeah. Okay, we got that one. Yeah.
Blank and blank in this latest blankmation.
Blank past the cheese. Right. Okay, we've got it. It's done. Yeah, easy.
Wensley Blank. No, Lucy, you can't say Wensley Blank. That's
Good. Well, that's another quiz under our belts for
Yeah.
another week. Lots of, I mean, like, there's some quality games in that one. Got some
I
quality
know,
games this
yeah,
week.
yeah. I mean, my uncle, he bought a lot, but, you know, he was a nerd too. That's why I'm here. So,
Yeah.
shout out to him.
I've played almost nothing with them all in the wrapper.
They're all in the wrapper. I don't
Also a possibility.
psyops.
It's like, I'll build the collection. That's what I'm doing. I'm
Yeah.
building the collection. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like
But, hey, I've
Kim
got,
Jong
like, a-
Kim Jong Il had like every DVD in the world ever made. I'm gonna have every fucking game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he only watched like everything that had to do with like dictators and stuff like that.
Well, Lucy,
But yeah,
at some point when you're running low on games, I'm just gonna like go on eBay and find those job lots of like
oh yeah.
video games and just get them sent to you.
Nice.
I will not send you my address.
Yeah.
You
Sorry.
may already have
I've got it. I've got it somewhere. Don't worry.
Oh
Yeah.
no. I will move.
Good. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for episode 400. Let's go over the beers for this week. Lucy, you're in the middle of typing, so shall I jump to Adel first?
No. I'll
Whilst
do
we-
this.
you good?
After. I'll
Okay,
do
cool.
this after. I'll just. Last notes on the beer. Oh, that track is super nice, but I wouldn't say it's any different from like any of the beers, which are all pretty good, especially ones that are like this percentage. And I think track do a whole range of like different strengths. They're not averse to doing a tipper.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this very much showcases those Southern Hemispheric hops, and it's really good. I'll enjoy that off the pod. I think the Golden Ale is the highlight. Just because you don't really get that much of the style, and I think there's so many layers of depths with the the multiple years of blends, and I'm biased. I like crossover blendery anyway, but I was really happy to try the mixed firm from Deya. Really want to get to their mixed firm tap room, but and just get absolutely wasted on all their taps there. It's kind of insane to me how they actually have a tap room just for mixed firm. So I really want to get there, but
Yeah.
but it was a bit too bit too appley. It voyaged into the cidery domain a bit too much for me, but still a quality beer. Like it was 750 ml, had pretty large glass, but I still finished and polished it off pretty quickly. So it's like I still enjoyed it, and those beery notes did come to the forefront the more I drank it. But yeah, crossover blendery, like shout outs to them. I have to spotlight them because like
nice.
they're doing some of the best mixed firm beers in the country. Like someone like them, Mills Brewing, is it Wild Horse in Wales?
London,
no. Yeah, up there. Just great. So I'm glad those styles still exist today.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they can do what they do. So
Yeah.
yeah. But all around good, really. So I'm
Nice.
happy.
Nice. A good beery evening. Adel.
Yeah. Both my beers are really good. They're like polar opposites, right?
Mm.
Um, I think by the end of the Wildflower, I said, yeah, this is worth checking out. There's only a few bottles around. What I can say with reckless abandon is this Tartarus is actually might be one of my favorite Tartaruses because it's super easy to drink. The 12% is there. I'm feeling it by the end of this game. Oh, look at me, rosy cheeks. Right, but like it didn't feel boozy
Mhm.
except for the
Yeah.
viscosity because the vanilla and the salt and the caramel just kind of came together with the malts to make it sort of slightly more toffee caramel in a way that was really luxurious, and it just everything about all the different vectors of the taste kind of came together. So it was like, yes, this is boozy, but that's actually making it better. The salt is present at a low level throughout, and that's making me kind of
Mm.
accentuate exactly what I want. The vanilla is kind of hiding, but I suspect it's tying things together. The brownie, the chocolate, and the malts and the just the ABV are making it more like a brownie, less like pure cacao.
Mhm.
It's just like such a well-made beer when you think about
That
what's been
sounds
put
so
into
good.
it. It's
Yeah.
also it's 12.6%. It by the end, like I'm still just on the last sip. If you handed me another can, I'd crack it and be like, yeah, let's keep going. It's just really good. It's like it's a 12% beer that doesn't it entirely keeps its welcome, and like I would easily have more because it's not like in my face and it's really tasty. And like I said,
Yeah.
those there's different bits you can tune in and out of, and they like make themselves more known throughout the tin, right?
Mhm.
Because obviously I'm getting used to bits, etc. Just an
I
excellent
had
beer.
Brioche, the Tonkoko uh, milk
Ooh,
stout 10% version, which is something that they've always had and bring out every now and then.
yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that is what that is for me. Like, just easy enough drinking, but you're getting
Mm.
all those notes without it being too boozy or rich, to the point where it's sickening.
Brew York has this limited edition series of milk stouts that I almost bought today before realizing they all had lactose on them. But
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
but they
like
are
literally, I was like, "Oh,
delectable.
there's three of them. What if I just bought all three and for episode 400 just like ranked them?" And I was like, "Oh, I can't have this one or this one or this one. Okay, give me the Tartarus."
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I'd say that's a pretty good
Yeah, I'm fine with my choice.
Yeah.
And also, I got
substitution.
to have the Wildflower, which again, it's a very good day when you can have like a delicate wild yeast, bizarre sort of like tastes like beer but very much on the fringes beer that's delicate and light, and then this like boozy, like freight train but not bowl you over, just like a really strong taste that still has nuance but in a very different way. Oh, it's
Yeah.
been a great day.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Um, for me, the dipper warmed up slightly, and actually, the warmer it got, the more flavor I got through. But it is still a very small amount of flavor. And it's kind of as described at the beginning, a little bit of stone fruit, um, and kind of I know they were saying sort of like candy floss, and there's maybe in this kind of like back third a bit of estery kind of candy elements to it, but that really you've got to search for it ultimately,
Yeah.
and it's mostly kind of more of a fruitiness, but it's a fruitiness which very quickly jumps into that oniony vegetal kind of flavor, into that earthiness, and then just proceeds with that, moving into that kind of chewy nature. And again, the chewiness disappears a little bit as the beer warms up, as your palate gets used to it. Those kinds of like extreme elements kind of go from it, and it becomes a little. The flavor kicks in a bit more, but it's a little flat in its flavor as well. So like a little lackluster at the start of it, and then maybe a little flat after it had started to warm up. Whereas I think the Verdant, the Beaks just started off really well. It was a solid block of flavor. It didn't take me on that journey. It didn't do very much, but it went, here's some flavors, here they are together, and we are pushing these. Great. Experienced all of that. Absolutely. really dry. Took a sip, same thing again, bam. Just very well made, I think. So the Verdant and the Beak was the highlight. I expected the Cloudwater to be the highlight for me. But it's Verdant, it's Beak, so why wouldn't it be that kind of thing? So
Yeah.
The tides have shifted definitely over to those. Well, Cloudwater certainly laid the groundwork, and those are just two breweries who are just absolutely top of their game right now.
Yeah, I don't know how old Beak are. Maybe we've seen beers from them over like maybe 3 or 4 years, perhaps, if that long. Whereas obviously Verdant are a little bit older as well. Maybe
As we know, like all these breweries like exist without our knowledge for many years and cultivate that like kind of local community and just explode. But yeah, I love Beak. It's a shame they're over in, like, what is it, Bermondsey or something like that. They're far away. I want to visit them, and they're too far away.
Just like, I will come and no, I won't.
No, I'll just
come closer to me. Do a tap takeover.
Yeah,
like, down the road.
Just open up another brewery in Birmingham. London's too expensive, and it's horrible. I'm from London, so I can say that. Awful place, but so just open up next door to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, just in a house, just in the front room of the house next door.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Can't destroy the foundations of my house. I'll happily, just make a brewery there. That's fine. I don't mind.
Nice.
Imagine that. Imagine if you could just be like, instead of a brewery closing down, you just be like, come here, free of rent. Won't charge you rent. Just open. Just brew beer from my bedroom.
Straight in through the window. Perfect.
Into a funnel into my mouth. Yeah, just like.
We can wish, absolutely, and we will do so for maybe 400 additional episodes. Who knows how long we'll be wishing for beer through our windows for? Probably forever, to be fair. But if you want beer through your window, let us know, because it's amazing. You can do that at Tanked Upcast on the socials. You can go to outoflives.net. I'm @Nova_47. Lucy is
Juicy Loose 9.
And Adel is
at the Omniarch.
And they're all of the places we inhabit on the internet. They're the beers that we drank, they're the games that we played. Thank you for joining us, potentially for one episode, potentially for 400 episodes. Let us know. Let us know what you think, and whether you've been here for years. Yes, Lucy.
No, I'm just doing 400 with my hands. Is that not clear?
Oh, there was some kind of sign language for something.
Oh no!
You were signaling people to be like, go to this podcast instead, please. Good. Thank you for joining us. We've been Tanked Up, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Ciao.
What a mess we are.
In the best way possible.
www.outoflives.net